A sharp weapon carrying spiritual energy was soaring through the air. On the other side, a group of 3 brave people ran toward the place engulfed in blazing flames. Artemis, ranked the 26th Lord and 19th in the Ragnarok Guild, was preparing to shoot 3 arrows at once, a blood-destroying strike. Beside her was Horde, ranked the 33rd Lord and 22nd in the Ragnarok Guild, also unleashing a supporting technique Void Sword. Both attacked simultaneously at a single target hidden behind the flickering fire. At that moment something shiny and golden suddenly appeared. It turned out to be Helios, ranked the 19th Lord and 9th in the Ragnarok Guild, raising his weapon high behind him to gain momentum for a finishing blow. "Today is your end, Rocken." The ground in that area shattered as the attack struck down. Amidst that chaos, someone easily caught the heavy blade with one hand. That person even tightened his grip, causing the metal surface to crack. The smile on Rocken's lips was full of disdain. "The end, huh?" With one hand still holding Helios's weapon, he spoke provocatively. "Mine." Without another word, Rocken's eyes suddenly shone brightly. Then a sharp line of light swiftly swept through the air. He had succeeded in destroying the man's sword and at the same time counterattacked with a fatal blow. The system immediately notified Helios. "You are dead." Forced logout activated. The armor on his body gradually dissolved, revealing an extremely furious face. "You damn monster." Rocken's information was displayed. Violence King, ranked the 12th Lord, belonging to no guild, solo player level SSS. After defeating Helios, he sneered mercilessly. "You really think the great Rocken would die so easily?" At that moment a curse echoed by his ear, catching Rocken's attention. "You are nothing but an insect of the gods. Die, Rocken." The one preparing to attack was Skadi, ranked the 17th Lord and 11th in the Ragnarok Guild. The space immediately turned white, accompanied by a wave of cold air rushing toward Rocken. Though his body was partly frozen, leaving only 60% of his vitality, he did not waver. "I an insect, huh?" The next second Rocken's face turned maniacal as he unleashed his power. "Then you all are nothing but flies." With the skill war cry, the cold mass around him was successfully suppressed. It even affected other players. Horde groaned softly. "My head." Taking advantage of their distraction, Rocken raised his double-bladed axe, intending to end the battle. "I will wipe out all of you, every one of you imposters." But just as he charged forward full of momentum, something appeared above his head. 2 lightning bolts simultaneously struck exactly at Rocken's position, shaking heaven and earth. When the dust cleared, he could still be seen alive with an intact body. But unfortunately only 30% of his vitality remained. Rocken glared sharply to see who dared to ambush him, and then quickly stood up to face 2 players floating in the air. They were Zeus, ranked the 2nd Lord, and Thor, ranked the 4th Lord, both Vice Guild Masters of Ragnarok. Even so, Rocken feared no one and even taunted. "Kai Kai, how dare you Pikachu bastards, come on down here." Zeus did not reply but respectfully placed one hand across his chest. Seeing both of them bowing their heads as if greeting someone made him puzzled. But when Rocken turned his head to look in their direction, he already had the answer. Because another figure had been standing behind him all along without him noticing. The transcendent figure before him was none other than the Creator King Odin, ranked the 1st Lord and Guild Master of Ragnarok. He was looking at Rocken with cold, soulless eyes. Rocken's expression darkened, but his eyes gleamed as if he was amused. "Oh." Without bothering to taunt, Rocken immediately burst with rage, ready to attack Odin. A hand wrapped in silver armor slightly clenched and released spiritual energy. Immediately hundreds of arrows were fired down, taking him by surprise. Facing the rain of arrows, his skilled technique allowed Rocken to deftly dodge each one. At that moment the system once again delivered grim news. "You have been suppressed by an unknown power, movement speed and attack speed reduced by 30%, that caused him to be injured instantly." Exhausted, Rocken fell to his knees, his eyes fixed on the rain of arrows pouring down. After a moment of silence, the corner of his lips curved up arrogantly. "You personality disordered bastard." The bright silver pupils of Odin moved slightly because of that provoking remark. The arrows then accelerated at an astonishing speed. Rocken could not evade them and had to endure each strike piercing through his flesh. screaming in agony. The other players immediately surrounded him as his vitality dropped below 2%. His body functions also weakened. Odin then descended to the ground and approached Rocken. He was kneeling before him, covered in countless wounds. With eyes cold to the bone, Odin slowly sighed. What a pity. That attitude made Rocken grit his teeth in fury. Seeing his current miserable state, Odin sincerely advised, "It is truly disappointing that the Violence King Rocken, who once held the top rank, has fallen so low. It is time for you to give up. How many times has it been already? Join my side and I will return to you what you have lost. No, I will give you even more. This is your last chance. Think carefully." In response to that seemingly kind offer was a mocking laugh from Rocken. He even kindly gave him the middle finger. "Get lost, bastard. I will destroy you soon. Watch yourself." Odin's eyes sharpened dangerously and his silver-armored hand decisively raised high. A single swing cut off Rocken's means of thought. The system board simultaneously announced, "You are dead. Death penalty. Your level has decreased. Random items will drop. Forced logout activated." Back in reality, the connection pod suddenly made a sound accompanied by white smoke. Rocken sat up immediately in frustration again. Then he clutched his head, pulling his hair in anger over his humiliating defeat against Odin. "I lost again. Damn it." All his frustration was vented on the floor through every punch. But C-chan downstairs was too familiar with this scene to be bothered. Tisk again. After venting his anger, Rocken leaned against the wall, breathing heavily. Yet his mood was not any better. It all began when the virtual world game The Lord appeared a few years ago. This special game suddenly emerged and shocked the entire world. A perfect virtual world where Rocken could transform into a character. Not only that, the graphics and sensations were almost indistinguishable from reality. A world even larger than Earth, with artificial intelligences that spoke and acted like real people. And Rocken once was the strongest in that world, having defeated countless other players. Ranked first overall, first in solo combat ability, and the highest level SS player among the Berserker class, Violence King Rocken. But since Odin appeared, everything changed. Just thinking about that man's face made him uneasy. That bastard Odin always managed to suppress me in every way. How did he gain such immense power? This was already the 8th time Rocken had been ganged up on by that Ragnarok guild. Every death lowered his level and caused his items to drop randomly. Returning to reality, Rocken suddenly threw a punch into the air. "Damn it. I am the super player of the Lord, Rocken. While those other bastards brag about how much they earn from the game, I devoted everything to the Lord. I would rather die than quit after being beaten by those bastards." Finally, he decided to go to the connection pod. Fine, let's see who gives up first. In the Lord world, Odin was leading the Ragnarok guild, preparing for battle. His face showed no emotion. In contrast, Rocken, driven by pride and competitiveness, acted impulsively. "I will finish them off one by one." In this challenge, he vowed to use all his strength to end it all. "I will never lose to you failures." As soon as he finished speaking, Rocken's eyes froze as if something unexpected had occurred. Shortly after, rain began to pour from the sky, leaving puddles on the ground. Mixed with it was Rocken's blood from the wounds caused by Odin's arrows. His body lay motionless under the gaze of Odin and his followers. Even after his 9th humiliating defeat, Rocken could still laugh mockingly. "Ki, these bastards." His expression stiffened when the system notification appeared. "You no longer retain the title Violence King due to failure to meet the minimum requirements." In that instant, Rocken seemed to lose his mind, unable to accept reality. No, not that. No matter how violently he reacted, the system continued to fade away. After a moment of silence, Odin spoke with a disdainful tone. "So you have lost even your ranker title. There is no point in dealing with you anymore." As soon as he finished, he and the other players vanished from the sky, leaving Rocken alone on the battlefield filled with glowing arrows under the heavy rain. Everything was so miserable that it choked him. In the end, I have lost everything. The title of Violence King, my level that once reached hundreds, and all the items I had. His thoughts paused, replaced by a scream that pierced the heavens. The legend of Rocken, the strongest and most violent in the Lord, ended in tragedy, or at least he thought so. The next morning, when sunlight filtered into the room, Rocken was still sound asleep. The alarm clock rang noisily, making him irritated enough to smash it with his hand. "Ah, shut up." Even though he was awake, the weariness lingered, and in the end, there was no plot twist. He kept getting weaker, unable to defeat those who kept leveling up. The situation in the real world worried him even more. Damn it, tomorrow is rent day. He hurriedly got out of bed with determination. I must sell what I have left. His face suddenly froze as if realizing something was wrong. But the connection pod, where is it? Did I request to retrieve it yesterday? No, no way. Even if I did, I haven't even opened the door yet. It seemed he sensed something off. Wait. Rocken looked around the room in confusion. Where am I? At that moment, the phone on the floor suddenly lit up. On its screen appeared a strange message. The virtual reality game The Lord will soon be released. Will soon be released. Standing outside the convenience store, one could hear Rocken's unbelievable voice. What? His face sweating and his eyes full of shock. Year 2021. No way. That attitude made Heechul feel puzzled. Really, brother? Why are you suddenly asking about the date? Rocken could only hold his forehead and sigh. Then he confirmed the information. Your name is Heechul, Jang Heechul, right? He felt a bit helpless. What is wrong with you? Are you okay? But he did not seem to care about the question. His eyes kept staring ahead. Then he suddenly ran outside, screaming wildly, making Heechul helpless. He scratched his head sympathetically. Hey, since your girlfriend dumped you a few days ago, he has been acting weird. Meanwhile, the street scene outside remained as usual. After running for his life, Rocken leaned against the wall to catch his breath. But in his head, he could not stop thinking about the strange thing that was happening. This is exactly the neighborhood I lived in 3 years ago. The convenience store I used to go to. Even the name of that part-time staff I was friends with. What the hell is happening? Since I was tricked by those bastards in the Lord, I lost all my titles and died tragically. Oh, it seems I finally died because of lightning attack. But when I opened my eyes, I was back in the real world and returned 3 years into the past. The Lord has not been released yet. He suddenly laughed while looking at his palm. Am I dreaming or something? A flash of light suddenly streaked across Rocken's eyes. Ah, right. Finally, he could make a deduction. Odin, this must be his doing. Becoming more convinced of that, Rocken suddenly laughed out loud in broad daylight. Ha ha, yes, that must be it. His steps grew firmer. Surely he used some weird mind control skill to manipulate me. He deliberately took a very deep breath and then roared in all directions. Odin, get out here now, you bastard. Stop playing these trash tricks and fight me directly, you damn man. Passers-by heard and were startled. Ah, what is that? Not long after, Rocken was seen sitting dazed in a strange room. It turned out he had been carried to a police station and was being interrogated. Your friend's family name is O. What an odd name. This time I will let you go. Do not repeat it. He stepped outside with an eerie silence. Rocken himself found everything strange. Are mind attacks usually this detailed? No. What does he gain from giving me such hallucinations? When Rocken returned, his gaze hit a concrete pillar by the road. He suddenly put his hands to his sides to face it, then decisively banged his head against the concrete pillar, making passers-by unable to stop him. What the hell? Blood poured all over his face, but his mind kept circling the old issue. How this feeling is so real, and people whispered, what is wrong with him? Probably a mental patient. Time passed and the scene moved to a gym. A punching bag stood pitifully deformed from being struck repeatedly. With speed and strength honed in the Lord, Rocken was now madly attacking it. 2 others watched with interest. What martial art is that kick and punch technique? I have never seen it before. But with such a wide range of motion, it must be Russian martial art. On the other side, he coldly threw a crushing punch. His eyes glanced at them with an arrogant smirk. Of course you have never seen this. This is my martial art created for my use alone. It was perfected by Rocken while in the Lord. A craze for martial arts will erupt after the Lord is released, because people often die at the hands of low-level monsters. Even with huge level gaps, due to poor control skills, players have so far only used keyboard and mouse. Back in reality, he walked away after beating the punching bag to tatters, before confused and bewildered faces. Not familiar with comprehensive virtual reality technology like the Lord at all, but there was something far more important. After grabbing a dumbbell, he immediately sat down. Drops of sweat ran down his face, but Rocken did not lose heart. It was the understanding that one could control one's own body. Every muscle from head to toe, the ability to know and control each fiber is proportional to one's body control in the Lord. Yes, it was time to accept this. Rocken had returned to 3 years in the past. To the point 1 month before the Lord's release, the game was his whole world. Just thinking about it made Rocken chuckle eerily. Determination rose fiercely again. Just wait, you bastards, and Odin too. I will be reborn as someone you have no chance of beating. I will grind you to dust. 1 month later, the connection pod for the Lord arrived at Rocken's apartment. He had been lying in it for who knows how long, preparing for a spectacular comeback. Blue light from the system screen washed over his sharp face, along with sounds from the machine setting up the system. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the pitch-dark space, a speck of light flashed, connecting to the Lord. At the same time, Rocken regained consciousness and opened his eyes. Before him were stars sparkling in a mysterious void like outer space. For a moment, Rocken was mesmerized. This is indeed the world of the Lord. The system voice rang out, "Dear traveler, please say your name." He immediately curled his lips into a smile and arrogantly blurted the name, Rocken. Then he emphatically repeated, "My name is Rocken." The system quickly updated, "Welcome to the Lord, Rocken." The opening of the virtual world was chaotic, with buildings destroyed by none other than goblins. Frantic shouts interspersed with heavy footsteps. "Run, goblins are attacking." Innocent civilians were slaughtered on the streets. A goblin pulled back a bow and fired straight into the back of a man running ahead. The system popped up. "Do you want to start the tutorial? If you refuse, you will not receive tutorial rewards." Rocken was thrilled, of course. At that moment, an obscene laugh came from behind. It turned out a level 2 goblin had spotted him. Immediately, it charged at Rocken with a stone club. Not knowing he was ready for close combat. "Right, I like your recklessness." The goblin froze with a dark streak across its face. Seeing Rocken fiercely raise his double-edged axe, it stood petrified. The result was being split in two by Rocken's decisive downward strike. The force even shattered the ground. Amid the billowing dust, Rocken could not hide his smug smile. "Kneel before me. The Violence King has returned. The situation in the town was getting worse and worse. Run. The body of the goblin that had been split in half gradually disappeared and was replaced by another one. Rocken looked up when he heard a new announcement. An outstanding achievement. You have defeated an opponent stronger than you. You have earned the title Warrior Born. Be proud of your combat talent. Effect strength points increased by 1. This made Rocken even more motivated. Alright, that is how it should be. This was a special feature of the Lord, the achievement system. When someone performs an extraordinary action or achieves something nearly impossible for them, it will enhance your stats or grant a special effect. Hunting monsters foolishly to level up is the least effective thing you can do in the Lord. He had not even finished listening before already feeling bored. Just as I thought, the tutorial does not give any experience at all. Before taking action, Rocken spent a little time thinking. The completion condition of the tutorial is also simple. Just survive in this pioneer village and withstand the goblin invasion. All you need to do is avoid the goblins and escape the village. It is not only that this tutorial gives no experience because it is a tutorial, but because it is very hard for a level 1 player to face 2 goblins at once. Even so, this only fueled his fighting spirit more. But what if there is actually a true way to perfectly complete this tutorial? The story started 2 months after the official release of the Lord. A strange player named Tolkien appeared. He realized the real goal of the tutorial was to survive, not to run away. A bold idea flashed in his mind. If we survive, what will happen next in that case? Haha, of course there must be something like that. It is said Rocken had heard that he obtained a special reward even better than the basic mission reward. The Lord had just been released, and the only person who knew how to perfectly complete it was him. In the village, goblins were still chasing the innocent villagers. Ah, run! Hannah tried to flee in sheer terror, but the goblins stubbornly chased behind her. Right at that moment, a familiar silhouette appeared on the rooftop. Before long, he stood blocking their path ahead. With just a single strike, its head was chopped off by Rocken. The head, flying in midair, still kept the terrified expression of the goblin. The remaining goblin glanced to the left and saw the axe flying toward it at lightning speed. The way to perfect completion that Tolkien discovered was this. The next second, the goblin screamed in agony as red blood gushed from its neck. Across from it, Rocken was extremely pleased. His determination grew stronger, to exterminate all the goblins invading the village without leaving any alive. Doing it that way, there would be a total of 25 goblins invading this village. The first strategy was divide and conquer by killing them one by one. After taking down one goblin, Rocken felt a little bored. Hiding and ambushing is not my way of fighting. With that method, he had killed 9 already. But that way is not very effective either. If the number of remaining goblins drops below 15, the leader will sense danger and gather all the others together. Therefore, they will stick to each other no matter what the player does. Rocken's steps suddenly stopped. So now he was standing before a huge wooden door with an important decision. It was time to use the second method. Inside the house, strange glass bottles were lined up on the shelves, and Rocken, his face scraped and exhausted, was breathing heavily. The system window appeared. You have 20% health left, body functions reduced in effectiveness. Before him lay the corpses of several goblins. Damn, I thought I was going to die. Charging into 3 at once like that was too reckless, wasn't it? Rocken's hand reached for a glass bottle on the shelf, then tilted it back and drank it. Use lowest level healing potion, restore body functions. Just that alone made his spirits lift. Ah, a potion on the brink of death is always the best. Suddenly a scream from outside caught his attention. That voice. A mouth with jagged teeth was trying to growl menacingly. The armed goblin had finally arrived on the battlefield. As soon as it appeared, Rocken quickly stepped outside. Looking for me, ugly bastard. With his stance ready, he taunted without hesitation. Come and face me. That of course enraged the armed goblin. It pointed its sword tip, ordering the lesser goblins to attack first. Facing the first one, Rocken quietly activated the new gear on his back. Come here, you damn brat. That thing even made the armed goblin pause for a moment in surprise. Turns out he had drunk 2 enhancement potions, increasing dexterity and strength. I prepared this special thing just for you, bastard. Rocken was extremely pleased inside. The second completion method became truly strong. Immediately after that, the system sent a notification. Used lowest level strength enhancement potion, strength increased by 10. Used dexterity enhancement potion, dexterity increased by 10. When the goblin holding the mace leaped to attack, he remained calm, but easily grabbed its head and squeezed hard, then decisively slammed it to the ground. Its dizzy mind could not recover right away, and it groaned faintly. The goblin's eyes suddenly widened, its whole body convulsed. In an instant, he finished it cleanly and turned to challenge the others. All right, next. They showed no fear and charged like moths to a flame and kept falling one by one to each counterattack of Rocken. He used his foot to sweep, making the opponent stumble. The other hand swung his weapon with a cold gaze. When in perfect position and angle, Rocken raised his axe high, then smiled with delight and struck fiercely. The goblin's body split in 2 and his weapon stuck into the ground. The system window immediately appeared behind him, making Rocken turn around. Only those who frequently used the achievement system could grow this fast. He was momentarily stunned by the information received. A surprising achievement. You have achieved perfect victory against a large number of stronger enemies. You have earned the title Born Warrior. You are the first to receive this title. Your talent allows you to defeat enemies more than 3 levels higher. This perfection can be considered a gift from the gods. Effect strength and dexterity increased by 3. Critical rate increased by 5% when fighting 5 or more enemies. Rockin grinned proudly. Oh, it even gives a reward for the first one. What he got made him extremely satisfied. I am only level 1, but my stats now are 15 strength and 14 dexterity. Those stats are equal to a level 10. The goblins charging fiercely interrupted Rockin's thoughts. With the iron axe in his hand, his battle spirit burned higher. You still have not learned your lesson, idiots. And thus the heads of each fell in an instant under sharp blows. They could not even react to dodge. In a brief moment goblin limbs were flying in the air and Rockin knelt down arrogantly. You are not worthy of me. But he forgot there was still the armed goblin, the one preparing an ambush right above his head. It swung its blade down while roaring powerfully. The armed goblin at level 15 and elite rank had terrifying strength, but it did nothing to his weapon or body. All right, you are still here, huh, stupid boss. Huh, stupid. Thick smoke rose from the buildings in the village. The armed goblin had not given up and continued to attack. However, Rockin stayed calm and skillfully dodged every strike. Even so, there were moments when he was unlucky, and the goblin's blade struck the armor on his shoulder. When the goblin's weapon slammed into the ground, a thunderous sound echoed. Not far away, white smoke rose from the friction. It turned out he had quickly escaped the fatal blow. It was stronger and more agile than normal goblins. I knew bosses would be different. Still, it could not stop Rockin's fighting spirit. However, a goblin is still just a goblin. Facing the massive body of the enemy, he charged forward holding his axe. The armed goblin swung down again, but Rockin leaped up quickly, ready to counter while it was still recovering. I have finished analyzing your simple attack pattern. Immediately, he aimed straight at the goblin's neck and struck a powerful blow that sent its head flying off. The result in front of him made Rockin satisfied for a moment. All right, not bad. However, something strange happened as the goblin's head began to regenerate and reattach to its body. The scene made him bewildered. What? While he was dazed, it grabbed his wrist. This time, the armed goblin was even more ferocious, roaring frighteningly. It pulled him up high and slammed him down, shattering the ground beneath them. The pain was so great that he clenched his teeth and his eyes rolled white. The system quickly updated the status. You have taken 355 damage, health reduced to 20%. While Rockin was still unconscious, the goblin lifted its foot high and stomped down hard, shaking the earth. Luckily, he woke up just in time and jumped back. Damn, the problem isn't strength or speed. Now Rockin felt uneasy inside. This is bad. Its defense is really annoying. I can't finish it off with my current stats and weapon. My boost potion only lasts 5 more minutes. All right then. He thought he might give up, but no, that only made him more determined to conquer it. Let's fight, get ready. Even the armed goblin was surprised by Rockin's action. But actually, he still chose the safest option. Running away is the best strategy. In the goblin's head, question marks appeared. But a second later it went berserk and roared angrily. Then it grabbed its weapon and charged after him while he ran for his life. Not long after, it was seen limping among the ruins. The armed goblin scanned around for Rockin and then noticed something. In front of it stood a solid building with flickering light coming from the windows. Its jagged mouth stretched into a grin as if pleased. Meanwhile, Rockin, exhausted, sat on the floor leaning against the wall and breathing heavily. He held his side and grimaced. Ah, it hurts. My ribs are broken. Does this game really need to be this realistic? Suddenly a scroll appeared in his hand taken from the system. He quickly tore it open. Time to use it. The last item I bought from the item shop. A message immediately appeared. You have used a low-grade fire-resistant scroll. Your fire resistance increases by 30 for 10 minutes. Just as Rockin was planning his next move, the wall beside him exploded. Alright, now I just need to lure it and then. The armed goblin stormed in, unaware he was behind it. When their eyes met, Rockin smiled casually. Hello, you look really angry, wanna talk? But it ignored his words and attacked directly, forcing him to dodge. Damn it. Blows were unleashed, continuously tearing through the air. Even so, Rocken skillfully evaded each deadly strike. However, while thinking too much, he exposed a weakness, not enough room to dodge. This time the goblin's weapon hit him squarely. A streak of light shot into the nearby wall. His body slammed hard against the surface. Pain surged through, making him cry out. Rocken collapsed on the floor like a puppet. The system updated. You have taken 74 damage, health below 10%. The armed goblin approached furiously with spiritual energy surrounding it. His hand gripped the weapon tightly and began to release energy. Then he used all his remaining strength to counterattack. The double-bladed axe flew through the air, but the goblin easily dodged and grinned wickedly. However, Rocken replied with disdain, "Happy? Keep laughing all you want." The goblin froze when hearing him declare, "Because this is your last laugh." Sensing something wrong, it quickly turned around. The axe had embedded itself in a concrete pillar, making the upper part collapse. Rocken mockingly raised his middle finger, "Goodbye, idiot." Inside he was pleased. Strategy number 3, use everything around you. Rocken lingered by the window as if provoking the goblin to roar angrily. But it suddenly looked up when hearing sounds above. Instantly, a pile of debris crashed down on the armed goblin. Meanwhile, Rocken had already jumped out of danger, leaving behind a tremendous explosion. Rocken did this for the reward, but it was still a bit sad that the poor Violence King had to rely on tricks like this to defeat a monster. The system quickly updated. You have defeated the armed goblin, health below 1%. Suddenly he felt anger. "Odin, you bastard, you have humiliated me too much. Wait and see, I will make you pay 100 times what I suffered." Another system message surprised Rocken. "You have completed the tutorial. An unbelievable achievement. You have defeated an enemy 10 levels higher. You have earned the title Descendant of David. You are the first to receive this title. In addition, you have earned the title 1 against 17. You are the first to receive this title." He let out a sigh, then shouted joyfully as another title appeared. "Unstoppable, oh great." The system continued. You will receive a reward for completing the tutorial. You have obtained barley hard bread and 50 coins. You will receive an extra reward for this result. You obtained 5 unidentified armors. Rocken's grin grew wider. Of course, the reward is not bad at all. Now let's see what these titles can do. Status window. The information made him fall silent, but his mouth was grinning uncontrollably. Insane, impossible. Rocken's eyes were fixed on the system window. Perfect, absolutely perfect. All of Rocken's titles and detailed stats were updated. First item, barley hard bread, normal grade, weight 5. Second item, unidentified box, magic grade, weight 100, weight 1. Next, the title Unstoppable granted the effect that your relationship with NPCs linked to neutral faction and your relationship with NPCs in the Alliance will start at friendly. The required level for you to level up and your skills will be reduced by 30%. Rocken smiled as he touched the system panel with his hand. Legendary rank title. I cannot believe it. Fame and skill upgrades were already overwhelming enough, and it also adds many other effects. With my plans, I will be able to level up very fast with just this title alone. No, I will have to redo my entire plan. Those other titles are unique rank and their effects are amazing. Respectively, all stats will increase by 10% when fighting opponents higher level than you, and defense increases by 10% when participating in a battle with many opponents. Increase 30% based on the number of opponents you face. After studying the achievements, he had even more motivation to rebuild his life. Alright, let's go. I will open all the chests I received, all of them. Not long after, Rocken prepared to appear in a small street corner in the virtual world. Already he felt much more excited. It has been quite a while since I was last here. Under the blazing sun, Rocken excitedly declared, Newbie Village, Pocket City. Then he whistled on impulse and his gaze began to scan around. I knew it, it is packed full now, even though it only opened a few hours ago. Now looking, I see that some of them were already here. His pupils contracted, Odin and those who follow him. In Rockin's mind, he suddenly remembered the group who humiliated him earlier, those bastards from the Ragnarok Guild. I need to find them immediately and deal with them one by one. But his momentum had not lasted long before he switched to coward mode. There are too many. Odin entered the spotlight after achieving the Creator King title 2 years after the game launched. No matter how much he thought about it, it still felt strange. Around that time, dozens of high-ranked people swore loyalty to him. They even changed their titles and appearances. That is why Rockin called them a bunch of weird cosplayers. They even cosplayed Norse gods and Greek gods. However, now these people can still be found. It is just, who are they really, and how large a reward did he promise to show such loyalty? Did they bribe with hundreds of thousands of dollars? Is Odin the son of the chairman of a big company? With questions left unanswered, he angrily kicked his foot. Damn it. Then I should forget it for now. Thinking more about it will not solve anything. But Rockin could not hide the worry on his face. More importantly, the day to meet them again was approaching. I must become stronger faster than anyone else. If I want that, the first thing I should do is... Just then a strange voice cut across his thoughts. Hey you there, do you want to become stronger? Marcus, standing with his arms crossed nearby, made the offer. Then come here, you will be able to be strong like me. His indifferent eyes seemed to probe the other's thoughts. Indeed, Rockin was considering carefully training ground. It was probably because today was the first day that there were so many people. Even if sooner or later they would leave anyway, he finally made a decision. I want to use the training ground. The effect was immediately activated. The relationship between you and NPCs linked to neutral, and the relationship with NPCs in the Alliance will start at friendly. Thanks to that, Marcus was generous. Oh, I can see potential in you. I cannot let someone like this pay market price. I will give you the price of 20 Cooper. His face showed some surprise. The effect of the title. He recalled that previously the entrance fee was usually around 30 Cooper. Inside, the field players were training very hard. Rockin was no exception. He put one hand back to build momentum. Whoosh. I missed this feeling so much, then curled it into a fist, preparing to strike straight ahead. The training dummies in the ground were at the beginning one of the ways to accumulate experience in this pocket city. You will gain experience if you hit it. It cannot be any easier. Thanks to that, many players rushed in here when they first started. But sooner or later they will realize that it is extremely inefficient. The proof is a player so tired that he could barely breathe began to complain. Damn it, when will I level up? I have been hitting it for 5 hours already. Doing small errands for NPCs will help you gain more experience, and they will even give you money and food as rewards. Inside the store is an example. Here are the 10 acorns you asked for. Well done. Here is your reward. Even if you endure and continue to stay in the training ground, you will still have to pay usage fees and eat food. You will continue to spend money. Both Dravos and Tharian finally realized the important point. Forget this. Go hunt goblins or something. My God, we have just wasted too much time here. Of course, in Rockin's previous life, he also wasted time on it and ignored everything. However, leveling up was not the only purpose of this training ground. At that moment, Rockin was furiously punching the dummy, to the point that he could knock off one of its parts. He paused a little to adjust his heavy breathing. The system issued a notification that surprised Rockin. Strength increased by 1. His face immediately brightened. Yes, that is it. My effort has been rewarded. If you spend a certain amount of time hitting the dummies until your stamina is exhausted, your stats can increase by 1. This method is completely independent from gaining stats through leveling up. Now, the only person who knows this is Rockin, and even if someone else knew, they would not do it anyway. In conclusion, using that time to level up by doing quests will increase your stats faster. However, is that always true? At low levels like 10 or 20, you can level up in just 1 or 2 days, but can it still apply at level 100 or 200? Now it becomes boring and difficult, but the day will come when the seeds bear fruit. The day when my stats rise this quickly. After recharging his energy, Rockin once again burned with determination to train. Alright then, let's get back to work. His strength after 10 days had increased significantly. His fists had power even before touching the dummy. The destructive force combined with extremely fast attack speed made the dummy deform. But Dravos and Tharian only looked down on his effort. What is he bragging for? Leave him alone. He is just someone who likes attention. Instead, let's go do some quests. Rocken glanced sideways at them. What is so stupid about knowing all the attack moves? Once you level up, simple punches will no longer be enough to raise your stats. This time, he stepped back to gain momentum and put all his strength into it, then kicked hard at the dummy's body. The outer covering of it was shattered by Rocken. The system immediately updated new information, an unbelievable achievement. Your strength, dexterity, stamina, and physical resistance stats have reached the highest possible limit in the training ground. You will not be able to increase your stats in the training ground anymore. You have obtained the title Hardworking Worker. He stayed silent, waiting for more information. The notifications continued to appear, an unbelievable achievement. It would not be an exaggeration to say that you are the strongest man in this village. After you destroyed a dummy in less than a minute, you have obtained the title Strongest Man in the Village. His emotions burst with joy, finally. The effects received from the two titles, Hardworking Worker and Strongest Man in the Village, are respectively, you will require 10% less experience to level up, and strength increased by 5. Because of that, he had enough confidence to take the next step. Great, finally done with everything. Now it is time to level up. Suddenly, a familiar voice rang out, "Hey you, do you want to become stronger?" It turned out to be Marcus, who walked up with an unfriendly expression. These past 10 days I have been watching you closely. But Rocken's attitude was extremely cautious. What? Why did you do that? Even so, his will wavered a little when he heard the old man explain. A man with courage and perseverance like you will be able to do it. If you want, I will let you gain higher rank and power. What do you think, young man? Rocken's face showed a bit of shock. Huh, what is this? A hidden quest? Because he had never heard of such a thing before. Not long after, Rocken was led by Marcus into a dark cave. While he was still busy observing the surroundings, he thought to himself, I never imagined there would be a secret passage beneath the training camp. The old man broke the silence. It is very dark here, watch your step, or you might slip and fall. At that time, Rocken was still thinking about what Marcus had said earlier. What did he mean by high rank? Could he possibly know about hidden classes or secret skills? Outwardly, he pretended to be polite. Okay, here we are. As soon as he said that, Rocken put on a hesitant expression. When the heavy iron door opened, he saw faint figures of strange people ahead. Marcus then revealed everything. This is the advanced training area reserved only for those who are chosen. But that only made Rocken furious. Damn it. So that is what you meant by high rank. It is just another training room with different equipment. Despite his reaction, Marcus remained calm. It is not just different equipment. Rocken's eyes caught the movement of something in front of him. This is... Suddenly, the light on the chest of a robot lit up. They immediately took combat stances as Marcus explained. They move just like humans, and because they can attack and counter, you can actually die if you have not reached level 10. Want to try? Let me give you some advice. You can only attempt it once. At that offer, Rocken stayed silent as if thinking carefully. But soon after, he became excited enough to crack his knuckles. I might get beaten up, but it sounds fun. Then he slowly stepped inside. The heavy door slammed shut instantly. Now Rocken was alone facing more than a dozen humanoid robots. As the battle began, they rushed toward him with a powerful kick. But Rocken managed to duck in time, then used the momentum to throw an uppercut. He struck the robot with a heavy punch to the stomach, splitting it in two and sending it flying. Immediately, another robot with glowing green eyes moved in to support. This time Rocken had to raise his leg to defend himself, yet its strength still pushed his entire body backward. The marks on Rocken's arms left by the robot remained, and his gaze became much more serious. But it was not over. Dozens more robots stood ready before him. The sight only made him more excited. These toys are pretty strong. Still, Rocken refused to give up. Leaping high into the air, all right, let's do this. Since fighting on the ground was tough, He switched to aerial attacks. Why not enjoy this? Time passed quickly, and before long, 5 days had gone by in the special training area. The heavy iron door finally began to move. A robot lay on the floor, its trembling arm reaching out as if begging for help, only to be mercilessly crushed under Rockin's foot. He had reached level 10 and maxed out his stats, and even better, Rockin earned a new achievement. You have achieved absolute determination. No one can break your resolve. You are the first to earn this title. Its effects are resistance to all negative mental effects, and when health drops below 5%, all stats increase by 50%. Epic title absolute determination. He never thought he would get it in a place like this. Rockin himself felt deeply moved. After all he had gone through, it was quite the ordeal. But I did it. Just fighting a few training dummies was worth it. The smile on his face grew brighter. All right, it is time. Soon after, golden sunlight bathed the city of Khton. A strangely designed building stood there, with 3 skulls mounted at its entrance. Inside, Victor was sound asleep on a chair, until someone slammed the table, making him jump up. Greetings. It was Rockin. Are you not going to work? That immediately made Victor a bit annoyed. What, do you even know where this place is? Still, Rockin answered with a bright grin. Of course I know. This is the Berserker Guild. Right. Who does not know the famous Berserker Guild? That flattery pleased him greatly. Haha, you do have some knowledge, son. But Marcus did not forget the main point. You know you can only change your class once, right? Rockin gritted his teeth. I know, let's just do it. As soon as he finished speaking, Marcus stamped the paper firmly. Quick and clean, I like that. Rockin's entire body began to change according to the system message. You have changed your class to Berserker. That made Marcus cheerful as well. Rockin, congratulations on becoming a Berserker. The system quickly updated. Your level has reset to 1, but all your stats remain the same. Rockin laughed happily. Finally, at that moment, Marcus took out a pile of weapons and placed them on the table. Now for your class change reward. Take whatever you want. Without hesitation, Rockin grabbed the handle of a weapon. His eyes gleamed as it was a razor-sharp axe. With smooth and decisive motion, he swung it through the air, and even that was enough to make Marcus thoughtful. Meanwhile, Rockin continued swinging the axe powerfully in all directions, and when he brought it down to the ground, the force it released was incredible. Even Marcus had to admit it. Oh, impressive. Rockin felt a surge of satisfaction inside. Yes, exactly what I needed. Honestly, he had hesitated about which class to choose, unlike in his previous life, when Rockin knew quite a lot about hidden classes and how to obtain them. However, if he wanted to take down Odin and his group, nothing was better than a Berserker. Odin was always surrounded by guards, and Berserkers gained extra stats when fighting in groups. Moreover, Berserkers could use the Frenzy skill to further increase their stats, making it one of the best classes for those with high base attributes. He could raise his own stats through wild battle skills. More importantly, the more he thought about it, the more excited he became. Odin, since that bastard tried to kill me, I must at least take his head. Right then, a system window suddenly appeared before his eyes. Marcus did not seem to see it, so he curiously asked about Rockin's reaction. What is it? Are you that proud of your new class? Rockin replied casually. Ah, no, not really, then focused on reading it. Huh, what is this? On the screen appeared a quest. On the road to seek the new wind, the sign of the wild wind, the force that once swept across the world long ago has been found. Seek what remains and fulfill the dying wish of the Wind Sage. Complete the advanced training ground with your first class. Completed. When it ended, he stood there stunned. Huh, a hidden quest. Wild wind. Wild wind. When Sophia saw the customer arrive, she immediately greeted him warmly. The Aroke Bank always brings joy to its customers. How may I help you? But Rockin was in a rush. Loan, she continued. Your class and name? He replied without pause. Berserker Rockin, the biggest loan. She awkwardly informed him. All right. If this is your first class, then 30 silver coins, interest rate 3% per month. Without a moment's rest, he walked straight toward the Berserker Guild towering in the open space. The moment he met Victor, he immediately demanded the first-class skill books of the Berserker. All of them. The man was surprised. Oh really? You are quite generous, huh? Rocken immediately waved his hand impatiently. Stop talking nonsense. How much? He quickly answered, 10 silver coins. Then Rocken used all the skills one after another, from Axe Mastery to Blink, which could increase attack power by 70% and accuracy by 110%. He also learned the Impact skill, which raised those same stats like Blink in terms of strength and accuracy, and the Battle Cry that could intimidate enemies. Finally came Berserk mode, which burned one's own life force to create overwhelming power, making Rocken frown in thought. Victor curiously asked, "What's wrong? Any problem?" After a short silence, Rocken turned to him. "Hey sir?" The man startled. "Yes." Immediately Rocken furrowed his brows and asked seriously, "Do you know anything about the wild wind?" The man was puzzled. "Huh, what's that?" Since he couldn't gather any information, Rocken left and chose a quiet spot near the fountain to sit down. While closely studying the quest details, he muttered in confusion, wild wind, I thought it would be a quest related to the Berserker. But even the guild master doesn't know about it. And even as the #1 Berserker, I've never heard of such a quest before. Did someone already do it before me? Unable to find any clues, Rocken shouted in frustration. Ah damn it, how can I do this without a single hint? His mind became restless. The hidden quest reward is really tempting, but I still have no clue at all. Forget it, I'll just leave it aside for now. Then he ordered the system to open his info panel, status window, and thought to himself, I've changed my class. Now I just need to level up like crazy. A sudden idea flashed in his mind, making him grin mischievously. Then should I go all in on the crazy level up path I planned? A few seconds later, the crowd of players suddenly froze, staring at a strange scene. Rocken was sitting proudly while a huge floating board above his head read, "Looking for a knight to take me to the orc camp in the harsh forest. Reward 15 silver coins." At that moment, a voice came from behind, surprising him slightly. "Do you want me to take you to the orc camp?" In shiny steel armor, the newcomer spoke proudly. "My friend, I will help." Bakel pointed to himself with a smug smile and added, "About the reward, I want it paid in advance." Seeing that arrogant look, Rocken immediately realized the man had no good intentions, his sharp gaze piercing through him. Moreover, noticing there were no teammates around, he asked cautiously, "You're alone. What level are you?" Bakel grinned boastfully, "Level 25, heavy armor knight." But Rocken only smirked dismissively and waved his hand. "Just you. I don't trust that. Go away." This left Bakel stunned. "What?" Feeling insulted, he angrily barked, "Hey, can't you see this? It's the orc warrior insignia. I killed one myself to earn it." Rocken nonchalantly picked his ear with a mocking expression. "Ha, you probably just got that from killing 1 or 2 patrolling orcs near the harsh forest." Then he stressed the important part. "I need at least 2 people above level 30 to reach the orc camp deep in the forest. Stop acting arrogant and go." This made Bakel furious as he noticed the crowd whispering around. "That bastard." His mind raged. "Damn it. He's humiliating me in front of everyone." Unable to endure the shame from all those cutting stares, Bakel furiously unleashed a hostile skill straight at Rocken. Provocation. Instantly, the system displayed a cold warning. For 5 minutes, all defensive actions will be ignored, and the duration may extend if the opponent resists. While Rocken muttered darkly, "You?" His face twisted with fury, veins bulging. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" But just as the tension peaked, Bakel burst into mocking laughter. "Ha ha ha, my god." After glancing at the level floating above Rocken's head, he sneered, "Level 1. So you're just a newbie who recently changed class. That's why you're so arrogant, huh? If your skills are that pathetic, you should shut up and get lost." Those insolent words made Rocken's anger erupt, his voice low and icy. "What the hell are you babbling about? You want to die that badly." But instead of fear, Bakel became even more arrogant. "Come at me, fool. You're just a cocky brat who thinks he can reach the orc camp at level 1. Rocken tilted his head slightly, a wide grin spreading to his ears. "Level 1. Then he suddenly made a casual yet provocative suggestion. Hey, want to bet? The words made Bakel frown. What? Seeing his curiosity hook, Rockin pressed further. Let's duel. Winner gets 15 silver coins. How about it? No penalty since this isn't a player kill or anything. Isn't that perfect? Bakel frowned and stepped closer suspiciously. Are you insane? Noticing his prey still hesitating, Rockin kept taunting. What's wrong? Are you afraid that a level 25 might lose to a level 1? Those arrogant words finally broke him, and Bakel stomped down heavily. The system once again displayed a cold notification. Player Bakel has requested a duel with a wager of 15 silver coins. He officially accepted Rockin's challenge. Without wasting a breath, Bakel gritted his teeth and roared furiously. Come at me, you damn newbie. That was all Rockin needed. His lips curled into a calm, eerie smile, his face bright as if he'd found treasure, a brilliant grin with a hint of madness. In the bustling city bathed in light, figures moved along the streets, and among them, the Odin group passed through with dominating presence. While strolling idly, they noticed the noisy crowd ahead. Hey, there's a fight, a duel in front of the fountain. Hearing that, Elfi glanced over and sneered. A duel in town, they must have a death wish. Odin beside him just hummed, deep in thought. Then he turned his eyes toward Rockin's sharp face and murmured, a duel, huh? At that moment, even unarmed, Rockin exuded an aura no less than any warrior, surrounded by curious onlookers eager for the show. Meanwhile, the annoying Bakel began equipping his armor and weapons meticulously. He radiated killing intent and declared, I will crush you, you arrogant brat. But Rockin didn't care and casually replied, yeah, good luck. When Bakel noticed his opponent carried no weapon, he paused in confusion. Wait, where's your weapon? Instead of answering properly, Rockin boldly raised a friendly international finger in provocation. My weapon, right here. His pride torn apart, the giant roared with fury. You really think I need to swing my sword against someone like you, you arrogant bastard? The ground shook beneath his ferocious steps as the system's cold voice announced, duel start. When HP drops below 5%, it will be considered a loss. Veins bulged along his arm as Bakel raised his iron weapon high above his head. Go to hell. With a furious roar, he slammed it down. But Rockin had already dodged to the side. Bakel gritted his teeth, breathing heavily, glaring at his opponent, then spun around, unleashing a flurry of strikes. But every glowing arc cut through empty air, leaving Rockin calmly evading each blow, fueling Bakel's rage further. Damn rat, all you do is dodge. Confusion boiled inside him. Damn it, are berserkers always this fast? Seeing his enemy grow exhausted, Rockin closed in and taunted. Yeah, I should finish this. Bakel hastily turned, trying to counter, you arrogant. But before he could finish, Rockin's fist smashed straight into his face, cutting him off mid-sentence. The heavy impact cracked the hard helmet open, leaving a stunned silence. While Bakel stood dazed by his shattered armor, Rockin recalled those training dummies he had fought to the limit. Foolish idiot. I already maxed out my substats in the training zone. My level reset only because I changed class. My true stats are above level 50. His mighty fist crashed into Bakel's massive body without hesitation. Cancel. The unexpected strike silenced the entire plaza, every gaze filled with disbelief. Even Odin froze, his eyes wide as he exclaimed, oh my god. He broke that armor with just his fist. Bakel foamed at the mouth, unable to comprehend how he'd been taken down in one blow. Then Rockin calmly placed his hand on Bakel's head and whispered, not every level 1 is the same. With that, he pressed the man's head into the ground with force, the same difference. The duel's outcome was clear. The winner, undoubtedly, was Rockin. After the earth-shattering impact that left Bakel's body lying motionless on the ground, the system immediately sounded a notification. The player has lost. You have been logged out in a duel. You will lose 15 silver coins. The heavy atmosphere was torn apart by the cold voice. Player Rockin has won. You will receive 15 silver coins. Seeing this message, he clenched his fist in excitement. Great, more allowance money. The crowd around who witnessed this scene began to buzz with chatter. Did you see that? Instantly and with bare hands. I heard he's only level 1. No way. Is he a hacker or something? While countless comments swirled around, Rockin calmly stretched his hand open and closed to loosen his joints. A faint pleased smile appeared at the corner of his lips as he silently thought to himself, "Not bad, this much is enough." After confidently putting his hands on his hips and walking away, he kept pondering his next route. The problem is how to get there, when suddenly a voice called from behind, "Excuse me." Hearing the unfamiliar call, Rockin slightly tilted his head with a puzzled look. Right in his view appeared the Odin group, a team of 3 with an aura completely different from the surrounding onlookers. Odin smiled warmly and immediately struck up a conversation. "Is it true that you're planning to go to the orc camp?" Rockin pointed to the display board, "Looking for a knight to escort me to the orc camp in the harsh forest, just like you see." After confirming clearly, he turned to his teammates and suggested to Rockin, "We've never been inside the camp, but we often go near that area. Want to go with us?" Looking at them, Rockin rubbed his chin in brief thought. "What level are you?" Without hesitation he replied, "I'm level 35, and these 2 are level 32. Hearing this, Rockin stayed silent, quietly observing each person before him. Their equipment level looks fine, a fairly balanced team with a tank, a damage dealer, and a healer. After careful consideration, Rockin finally nodded. "All right, deal," then handed forward a heavy pouch with a proposal. "Instead of forming a party, I just want you to escort me to the camp gate. I'll give 10 silver coins first and the rest when the job's done. In return, I'll only watch and not join the fight. Of course, all items dropped along the way are yours." Once the agreement was sealed, the group moved together deeper into the harsh forest, where the trees cast a dim shadow. At that time Odin, as team leader, took the lead to scout ahead while Rockin strolled leisurely behind. As they reached the area requiring complete silence, Odin gave a quiet signal, "Stop." What appeared before their eyes was a ghastly tower piled high with animal bones, the scene so eerie it made one's skin crawl. He quickly turned back to warn, "From here it's the orcs' territory, there'll surely be guards patrolling." Yet he didn't seem worried at all, inwardly even scoffing. "I knew it, idiot," pretending to ask, "So what will we do from here?" But Odin didn't answer immediately. He just turned and called out, "Rose, give me that thing, will you?" She quickly complied despite Rockin's confusion. "I'll wait a bit." As soon as the item was handed over, he gathered all his strength and hurled it forward. The object landed spectacularly. It was a chunk of fresh red meat. It lay still but slowly released a rich, enticing aroma that overwhelmed the air with its bloody sweetness. Not far away, 2 orcs patrolling casually suddenly froze. One of them sniffed sharply, flaring its nostrils repeatedly. Then both fixed their eyes on the tempting treat on the ground, its meat. While the 2 orcs were engrossed in it, muttering maybe some hunting party dropped it, Odin discreetly nodded, signaling Rockin's group, then urged them forward, "This way." Without question or hesitation, the group followed precisely in formation. Rockin couldn't help curling his lips in amusement. "They're more skilled than I thought. Not bad." The team quietly weaved through the dense path, each step cautious as they approached their target. In that breathless silence, they finally stopped. Before them was the orc tribe, surrounded by a sturdy fence with a narrow gap just wide enough to slip through. As soon as Odin saw an orc wandering near, he sighed in frustration. "Oh no, that's the only back entrance." He quickly concluded, "They must have noticed and placed guards. Then there's no other way." "Elfi." She nodded in understanding. "All right." She immediately focused her spell, energy swirling around her staff. Then she raised it high and cast silence. The rustling sound startled the nearby orc, which turned toward the noise. Odin instantly dashed forward at blinding speed with his sword. The orc shrieked to alert others, "Intruder," but thanks to Elfi's earlier spell, no sound escaped. "My voice." In that chaotic instant, before the orc could react, Odin's blade flashed past. The next moment, its huge body crashed to the ground. Calmly sheathing his sword, Odin declared, "All done." Then gestured toward a narrow path at the side. "Go through here, and you'll be inside the orc camp." Having achieved his goal, Rocken kept his word and handed over the heavy pouch. Thanks, here's the rest. Odin accepted it gratefully. Thank you, good luck. Seeing that, Rose called out worriedly from behind. You're really going in there alone. It's much more dangerous inside. But Rocken simply raised his hand coolly. Yeah, I know. Goodbye. Once all was settled, Odin turned away decisively. It's dangerous here. Let's go. But Rose still frowned in confusion. I don't get it. What's he planning to do in there? Even paying money to come here? Elfi sighed dismissively. Forget it. He's just walking to his death. Unlike her disdain, Odin remained calm. We don't need to worry. His firm tone puzzled Elfi. What do you mean? He hesitated briefly, then voiced his thought. I'm not sure, but that guy probably isn't weak. She waved her hand doubtfully. Come on, why rate him so high? Sure, he's good at duels, but... Suddenly Odin posed a difficult question. Why do you think he asked for a duel in the first place? Hearing this made Elfi flinch. He then analyzed the battle they had seen. According to witnesses, that big knight was the one who attacked first. As you know, when a player is attacked first by another, they're temporarily allowed to defend and can even gain experience by defeating the opponent. Taking in all that, Elfi agreed. Right, that's a good chance to level up. Rose beside her looked puzzled. Then why did he? Odin spoke slowly, still uncertain. I'm not sure. But that player Rocken must have his reasons. Reasons for staying at level 1 until he reaches the orc camp. Meanwhile, the orcs who spotted the unfamiliar human were startled. Chick, there's a human male here. Seeing Rocken carrying a heavy axe on his shoulder, they hissed warnings, intruder. But he showed no fear and took a deep breath with all his might. Then shouted with a roar like a lion's cry. Which one of you knows the honor of a warrior? If there's a true warrior among you, then fight me now. His audacious words left the orcs astonished. A human who knows about orc honor, Chick, first time ever. Under their astonished gaze, Rocken burst out laughing, smoke puffing from his breath. A way to defeat orcs not yet revealed. If a player shouts this in the middle of their camp, the warrior barracks, they will initiate a duel to defend their honor. His true purpose glimmered in his mind. Yeah, I didn't come here just to level up. The key to growing stronger in the Lord. Achieving an almost impossible feat and earning a legendary title as a reward. That's my real goal. Fighting orcs in the harsh forest is known as a warrior's trial, but surely winning a duel here will grant huge rewards. Not only that, it's a hunting ground that allows duels freely without worry. Thinking that, Rocken shouted with exhilaration. Come on then, among you, who is the strongest? As the furious roar belonging to Rocken still echoed across the space, from within the crowd, a massive orc slowly stepped forward, blocking his path. Tarchel curled his lips into a provocative smile and arrogantly declared, "This is your chance to prove your honor. Go on, human." Facing him, Rocken couldn't help but feel a momentary confusion inside as he realized, damn it, I was too arrogant. I didn't think there would be an orc chieftain here. If this guy were compared to a player, he'd have to be at least level 70 and already mastered the second stage of his class. With my current stats, there's no way I can win. He bit his lip in frustration and cursed himself. Damn it, I'm such an idiot. At this rate I'll... While Rocken was still tangled in his own chaotic thoughts, a sudden loud shout erupted. No, chieftain, he's ours. The orcs suddenly clamored, demanding fairness for themselves. Chick, that's right. The chieftain is too strong. Give us a chance to prove our honor too. Amid their uproar, Tarchel became even more amused and laughed in agreement. Yes, you should be tested before you can fight me. Immediately after, a heavy foot slammed into the ground, shaking the entire area. The fourth-ranked orc warrior appeared at his call. Callo, fight him. Seeing his opponent, Rocken's lips curved into a delighted grin. I'm alive, all right, that should do. But the next instant, his entire body froze as if struck by shock. His heart trembled slightly at his own reaction and thoughts. Did I just feel relieved to face a weaker opponent? Damn it, pull yourself together. Rocken, how could I ever become stronger than that guy with that kind of mindset? Then, as if regaining himself, he exhaled a long breath while Kahlo's booming voice rang out. Human, you will fight me. Raise your weapon. That expression on Rockin's face made Kahlo pause in confusion. Instead of replying, Rockin kept gesturing and pointing in the air, making Kahlo frown. Human, what are you doing? Rockin was still busy distributing his stat points, hissing slightly when the bonus number hit 0. 45 bonus points fully assigned, his stat window filled with numbers. Only then did he stoop with an ape-like grin of satisfaction. All right, let's begin. In the heated air thick with tension, Rockin suddenly pointed straight at Tarchel and shouted, "Hey, Orc Chieftain." Then declared loudly, his arrogance laid bare, "I'll make a prediction. Today you'll meet your end at my hands." That reckless statement made the Orc burst into laughter. This human is truly amusing. Yet Rockin's fiery spirit didn't fade. Instead it surged even stronger toward his foe. On the other side, Kahlo, pushed aside, grew furious. "You." He swung his weapon overhead and charged with a thunderous roar. "You shameless human, your opponent right now is me." His next strike slammed down with such power that the ground shook. But Rockin reacted swiftly, twisting his weapon up to block and hold his ground. He muttered in awe, making Kahlo blink in confusion. "Your axe looks better than mine." Rockin's lips twisted into a mischievous grin. "I like it. I'll make good use of it." The steel blade in his hands flashed with a terrifying light, slicing through the air. Instantly, the shock wave burst forth, blasting Kahlo back violently. The impact made Kahlo wince in pain, thinking, this human, I underestimated him. Then, breathing heavily, he gathered his remaining strength and decided to unleash his ultimate move. "Then I'll do this." He took a deep breath, drawing on every bit of life force left in his body, and activated the skill battle cry. The force was so intense that even Rockin froze, eyes wide open. His body trembled slightly under the effect, his stats dropping by a small amount due to battle cry. This is... But instead of fear, he was intrigued. A berserker's battle cry, so there's even something like that. Seeing his opponent standing still, Kahlo concluded, "That human is weak now, I'll win." But contrary to his assumption, Rockin calmly raised his weapon with ease. "Really, you think so?" His body moved at lightning speed, leaving sharp trails of light that tore through space, piercing straight through his foe. Kahlo's body ripped open from a wound, his breath faltering. His eyes narrowed in anguish as he searched desperately for the attacker. "You..." And upon seeing that face, Kahlo roared in madness, "Arrogant human, die!" But the massive axe swung down with deadly intent was narrowly dodged as Rockin ducked just in time. His rage unquenched, Kahlo charged again, swinging relentlessly. Yet no matter how hard he tried, his blows only sliced through empty air. Kahlo choked in disbelief. "Humans are supposed to be weaker than me." Outside, the crowd grew louder with cheers and jeers. "Kahlo, what are you doing? Fight properly. Push him harder, Kahlo." At that moment, confusion filled Tarchel's mind. Strange, Kahlo is clearly superior in strength and speed. Looking at the battle, the balance was clearly one-sided. Yet why hasn't he won? Lost in thought, Tarchel suddenly saw Rockin closing in on Kahlo with a taunting smirk. Curious why things turned out this way. Before the words faded, Rockin gathered strength and kicked hard, sending Kahlo staggering backward. Watching him gasp for breath, Rockin coldly sneered. "The simple and stupid attacks of a low-level orc warrior are easy to read just from your movements." Those mocking words were like oil poured on Kahlo's burning pride. His eyes flared blood red with rage. He leapt up in fury and charged, his giant axe swinging back for momentum. Nonsense. But before it could land, Rockin twisted aside, deflecting it completely. The powerful clash threw Kahlo off balance, forcing him to stumble backward. While still struggling, Rockin's strike skill activated. He sprang upward and dove straight for his opponent. Strike level 1 boosts strength and dexterity by 110% on the next hit. In that moment of surging energy, Rockin smirked wickedly and spat out cold mockery. "Orc warrior Kahlo, I'll be sure to remember your honor well." As the blazing blade neared, Kahlo could only gasp in shock. This human, strong. But before he finished, Rockin's thunderous strike cleaved through him entirely. Raising his head, Rockin's face twisted into a proud grin of triumph. Witnessing that scene, the surrounding orcs were stunned. That human defeated. Then the crowd erupted in thunderous cheers. Kahlo, amazing. Human, you're strong. At that moment, the system suddenly released a series of notifications that made Rocken gasp in excitement. Unbelievable achievement. Defeating an orc alone. You've earned the title Orc Warrior Slayer Rank 1 and become the first to gain this honor. Looking at the status window, he clenched his fist in joy. Perfect. This is my first goal, earning the title Orc Warrior Slayer Rank 1. After changing to the first class, if a player defeats certain monsters during their first hunt, they gain the title Orc Slayer Rank 1. The stronger the monster, the greater the title's effect. Perfect. If I level up with this title, I can probably beat that stupid orc chieftain. And then something appeared, making Rocken frown. Just as he was still thrilled with victory, the system suddenly announced, making him freeze in shock. Title and stats have been retained. Warrior's Honor Quest in progress. Title and stats will be awarded after completion. He quickly grabbed the data window and screamed like a madman. Warrior's Honor Quest. What? Since when? But while he was still shouting to the heavens, Tarchel stepped forward majestically. So you've proven yourself worthy to fight me? Hearing that voice, Rocken narrowed his eyes, veins bulging with anger. Then he hefted his axe onto his shoulder and muttered, "So it's you, huh?" The question made Tarchel blink. Then he retorted, "What do you mean? You're the one who intruded into our territory and invoked the warrior's honor." Then he emphasized the point, "So you must see it through to the end." But inside, Rocken cursed, "Damn it, in the past, the guide to subduing the orc race didn't have any of this. I guess even a basic monster is still an NPC. No wonder they can assign quests to players. The Lord is that kind of game after all." The aura around him began to change, his eyes narrowing sharply toward the enemy. "So then, if I defeat this damned chieftain, I'll get another reward. If I lose, I'll be executed, but I'll still get the previous rewards, right?" Regaining his clarity amid the chaos, Rocken tightened his grip on his weapon. Lose? What nonsense. Then he decided to unleash the full power of the Berserker King Rocken from his past life to face the mighty foe before him. "I'll fulfill my will and destroy you, old man." Seeing this, Tarchel laughed heartily. "Ha ha, this human is truly amusing. Come, I accept your challenge." At the same time, Rocken's lips curled, revealing bright, confident teeth. Then he charged straight toward his opponent and activated Berserk. His body erupted with a raging force, accompanied by the thunderous system notice. Skill used, power increased by 200%, no mana cost, and effects worth pondering. Rocken's entire body officially erupted with a fierce surge of energy. As the trembling aura once again surged violently through his body, Rocken curled his lips and confirmed, "This is it." The burning sensation of boiling blood and explosive power was exactly the reason he could never give up going berserk. Strange streaks of black energy flickered past, startling Tarchel, who frowned in confusion. Fixing his gaze on Rocken, he was filled with bewilderment and shock. What is this ferocious power? Then a growl squeezed out through his clenched teeth. "Damn it! So you have been hiding your true strength all along." While Rocken's legs already bent down against the ground. Then suddenly he sprang high into the air, the axe in his grasp gleaming with a fierce halo. Next he gathered all his might and brought it down with a powerful strike toward his opponent. His face drew close to the man's with a look of amusement mixed with mockery as he questioned, "So, is there a problem?" Seeing no gap left to press on further, Rocken kicked hard into Tarchel's body, using the momentum to spin several times in midair to create a safe distance from his opponent. Right after that, he raised his head to look directly at the enemy, his lips curving to his ears, shining with unrestrained arrogance. In his mind, a calculation arose. Normally, when going berserk, people lose the ability to distinguish friend from foe. But thanks to handling it without hesitation, I can still tell them apart as clearly as day. I won't mistake my allies nearby. The duration of level 1 Berserk lasts only 180 seconds. I will definitely finish him within that time. Flash step. Seeing Rocken rush straight toward him, Tarchel gritted his teeth and raised his sword to defend. Meanwhile, Rocken charged while spinning the massive axe in his hand, creating a violent swirling storm. His eyes now burned a demonic red, radiating a murderous aura so intense that the space around seemed to choke. At the moment Rocken gathered strength to strike, Tarchel snarled and swung his blade down with a furious curse, "Bastard!" But just as that sword sliced through the air, Rocken swiftly slid back to dodge. His hands tightened on his weapon, trembling from the heavy impact, and he couldn't help but exclaim inwardly, as expected of an orc leader, "Such power and endurance, it's like he's using hacks." While that thought flickered, Rocken's figure vanished from his previous spot. But now, at least in terms of speed, I'm still faster. Tarchel immediately slashed a glowing arc through the air toward the jumping foe, but Rocken didn't stay still to take the hit. He pressed his axe to the ground and lifted his body up, then launched a lightning kick straight into the enemy's face, making the air echo with the blow. Witnessing the entire scene from start to finish, the surrounding orcs all exclaimed in astonishment, "Impossible!" As all eyes turned toward Tarchel, their hearts filled with doubt and fear. "The chief, he's being pushed back." Gritting his teeth as he endured the relentless assault, he muttered under his breath, "Damn it, this won't do." On Rocken's side, even his spirit began to waver. "Damn it, looks like I have the upper hand now. But because of the level difference, I can't land a critical hit. Its endurance is ridiculous. I must find a way to strike a fatal blow." Noticing his opponent's stamina waning, Tarchel seized the moment to pull back, then swung his axe through the air. However, Rocken swiftly ducked and dodged with precision. Seeing the enemy focus on overhead attacks, he quietly concluded, "An opening, good, I'll press the attack." Suddenly, Tarchel smirked with a sly grin, as if a trap had already been set waiting for his prey. Seeing that meaningful expression, Rocken's face tensed with clear alertness. In that very instant, Tarchel clenched his teeth, channeling all his strength into his muscles, preparing to strike. Then he activated the skill throwing, hurling his sword spinning through the air, flashing violently with each rotation. Rocken immediately raised his axe to block the incoming strike, muttering under his breath, "Damn it." The fierce impact forced him to brace with all his might against the blow. In the end, his weapon could not withstand the pressure and shattered, the low-grade battle axe completely destroyed. The light fragments scattered into pieces, forcing Rocken's legs to step back under the shockwave. Instantly, the system rang out a resonant warning. Your health has dropped below 30%. Berserk mode remaining 80 seconds, while Rocken bent forward, gritting his teeth and muttering to himself, "Damn it. I can't believe I made such a stupid mistake. He's a boss, so there's no way his attack pattern would be that simple." Tarchel pulled the sword out of the ground and slowly walked toward Rocken. "Is that all?" Smoothing back his hair, he mocked with disdain, "I thought you'd be something, but you're truly disappointing, human." Amid the mocking voices ringing in his ears, Rocken remained silent without responding. After a moment of stillness, he slightly curled his lips into a sly grin, then tilted his head forward and burst into a long, manic laugh. "Ha ha ha." He glanced toward Tarchel and spoke with sharp sarcasm. "What, is that all? So fake, especially for a coward who only knows how to fight dirty like you." Hearing those words, the veins on Tarchel's face bulged with rage. "What did you say?" Before he could react, Rocken continued with what he had deduced. "You think I don't know? You could have fought me from the start, but instead you pretended to scold your underlings and kept spouting nonsense about meeting some condition." Finally, Rocken concluded the true purpose behind Tarchel's act, just to find out my level. Hearing Rocken's sharp analysis, Tarchel burst out laughing. "Ha ha ha. What, making excuses because you're about to lose? How pathetic, human." But Rocken didn't deny it, instead agreeing, "Yeah, maybe you're right." At that moment, Odin's image flashed in his mind. "Maybe I've been overthinking things because I want to grow stronger too fast." As he finished speaking, Rocken's eyes glowed red. Murderous intent surged through his veins like flowing fire, and a twisted grin spread across his face. "Frontal assault. That's what suits someone like me best." The raging power bursting from him overwhelmed Tarchel, forcing him to grit his teeth and squint his eyes. In an instant, Rocken exploded forward like lightning, closing the distance between them. Caught off guard, Tarchel barely managed to brace himself, his mind in turmoil. This human. Before his eyes, Rocken unleashed his full strength, recklessly pouring every ounce of power into a relentless charge. As he endured the onslaught, Tarchel grew suspicious. He keeps attacking me head-on, not even trying to dodge my blows. After a long, fierce exchange, Rocken's stamina began to drain, his rhythm faltering. In that critical moment, Tarchel swung his weapon down hard just as the system message echoed in Rocken's mind. Your health has dropped below 20%. Seeing his weakened state, Tarchel sneered mockingly, desperate already. Then hissed each word with scorn. Too reckless for your own good, human, and immediately another message followed. Berserk mode remaining 70 seconds. After a moment of silence to gather strength, Rocken opened his mouth and shouted with rage, "Shut up." Then he swung his weapon sideways with all his might to create distance from his enemy. But the act didn't frighten Tarchel. Instead, he seemed amused. How pitiful to struggle like that. Victory is already mine. Then he launched a powerful strike that sent Rocken crashing to the ground along with another message. Your health has dropped below 10%. You are now suffering from the bleeding abnormal status. Kneeling on the ground, Rocken gasped heavily, each breath dragging his exhausted body. He cast a glance at the figure before him as the cold system warning appeared. Your health has dropped below 5%. Meanwhile, Tarchel smiled with arrogance, his mind filled with cruel satisfaction. It's finally over. Then he raised his sword high toward Rocken's head, the metallic gleam flashing in the tense air. Farewell, human, I've won. But Rocken showed no trace of fear. Instead, he grinned eerily. Instantly, the system emitted a piercing signal as a surge of energy burst from him, activating the effect of the legendary title Resolute Unyielding. Witnessing the scene left Tarchel stunned beyond belief. What? Impossible. How can he be getting stronger? All of Rocken's stats skyrocketed, every attribute rising rapidly by 50% as his health hit 5%. Berserk mode remaining 30 seconds. After everything, he roared fiercely, "Come on, let's end this." Tarchel, now terrified as the tide turned against him, panicked. Dangerous. This is dangerous. Unable to stay still and take hits, he quickly used the skill Iron Skin to boost his defense. Meanwhile, Rocken continued to unleash sharp, powerful strikes against the shield. He shouted with full battle spirit, his voice thundering like a tidal wave crashing through the air. Tarchel gritted his teeth, his muscles straining as he resolved, "No, I must endure this." At that very moment, Rocken's axe slammed violently into Tarchel's gleaming sword. In an instant, it shattered into fragments accompanied by the message, "Your opponent's weapon has been destroyed." Unable to believe his eyes, Tarchel roared in fury, "No, impossible." Taking advantage of the opening, Rocken immediately used the skill strike. "Nothing is impossible, you bastard." His final blow landed just as the system announced in triumph, "Congratulations, you have defeated Tarchel, Chief of the Orc Tribe." Chief of the Orc Tribe. When Rocken launched the precise critical strike, Tarchel staggered backward with tense muscles reacting, but unable to defend in time. Soon the giant body trembled, then fell to the ground with a resounding thud. Lying there, he hissed out curses filled with anger and disbelief. "I cannot believe it, by an ordinary human." At this moment Rocken carried the axe forward, each heavy step pounding into the silence. "Didn't I tell you already?" The corner of his lips curved proudly as he repeated, "Today you will lie beneath my hands." Suddenly Tarchel burst into manic laughter within the green light. "Ha ha ha, human. I admit that you are a great warrior." As the words ended, the system continuously announced messages of congratulations, "You have defeated the Orc Tribe Chief Tarchel," and a series of sounds followed, "You have leveled up." Watching the body of the leader slowly fade away, the surrounding orcs began to panic. "Chick, how could this be? Our chief has been defeated." "Wonderful human, very strong, Chick, a true warrior." Hearing these words of praise, Rocken felt delighted and flared his nostrils. Finally, these stupid orcs have recognized me." Suddenly the system rang out a warning berserk remaining 5 seconds. Seeing it, he was startled and remembered, oh, I am about to die, better heal. While using the lowest healing potion, he muttered, berserk is truly an amazing skill, but it has too many drawbacks. At that moment, the system continued to sound endlessly. You have obtained the title of defeating the Orc tribe chief at level 1. Strength, endurance, and stamina increased by 30, attack power increased by 30%, critical rate 10%. You are the first to receive the honorable Orc warrior title. Seeing the rewards he had earned through hard effort, Rockin laughed heartily. Ha ha ha, all right, such plentiful rewards are truly worthy. Clenching his fists with arrogance in his mind, he thought this path was difficult, but I have surpassed my initial goal already. Come to think of it, I have obtained a legendary title. I will continue like this and level up madly. Then he spoke with excitement, here, come on, whose turn is it? But contrary to his expectations, the orcs did not understand and asked back, what are you saying, human? The battle is over, you have defeated the chief, so now you are an honorable orc warrior. Hearing that, Rockin was shocked. What? The panic that did not appear during the bloody battle now showed clearly on his face at this moment. What the hell are you saying? When he looked closely at the effect details, it showed that reputation had changed to trust within the orc territory, unable to gain stat points when hunting orcs, and also not being attacked by them, which made him confused. Wait, I have not finished hunting yet. His mind flooded with frustration and disappointment. Damn it, I was planning to roam around here to gain some stat points, but I never thought killing that chief would lead to this consequence. Well, whatever, there are still many other ways to level up a relationship of trust with the orc race. Surely I will need it later. While he was lost in thought, a strange noise suddenly echoed, making Rockin startled and alert. Turning his head, he saw the orcs kneeling together, performing a salute and chanting in unison, O human who has proven your honor, let the spirit of the warrior serve you. Witnessing this scene, he smiled stiffly with a mix of awkwardness and rising joy, while the strong voices still echoed throughout the space, repeating over and over, as if to engrave the meaning, let the spirit of the warrior serve you. Some time later, in the KH-Town area, where the streets were bustling with players moving busily, Rockin rubbed his chin, eyes fixed on his personal info panel, then took a deep breath. Phew, wonderful, really. His eyes sparkled with excitement, thinking of the past battles, just 2 fights, and he had reached level 18. What a bargain! If I defeat more, I could easily reach level 30. Phew, I should forget about that for now. With this level, it is enough to continue that thing. Right now that I am in the village, should I learn a second skill? A sharp streak from above suddenly slashed down hard, splitting the red block in two. Oliver used all his strength and successfully chopped the meat on the table cleanly, then proudly instructed, you cut straight through its bone in one hit like this. Rockin exclaimed in admiration, just as the system notification rang out, you have learned the second skill, butchering. Looking at the slabs hanging around, he came up with a bright idea. If I sell the processed hide or meat of monsters, I can earn a bit more money, and it also helps me gather valuable resources. A few minutes later, Rockin moved to the relief center. Under the glaring light, Emily beside him kept explaining, if you read through that skill book, you can learn it right away, and you also need to use clean materials to bandage wounds. But he just replied coldly, I know. His hands swiftly cut the white cloth, and immediately the system cheerfully announced, you have learned the second skill, first aid. While performing, he calculated to himself, if I learn first aid, I can save money since I won't have to buy so many potions. The healing effect is a bit weak, but except in emergencies, it's still more economical. After finishing the stage of diligently learning essential skills, Rockin leisurely headed to the nearby forge. The newly completed axe rang with a sharp clang, the sound igniting excitement. Here, everything is ready, just 1 silver coin. He raised the shining weapon in his hand, while his eyes followed the info display. The Orc Warrior Battle Axe, with attack power 100 and durability 200, made him ponder. I have learned many secondary skills and repaired the weapon, so I guess I am fully prepared. Thinking that, he smiled mischievously, then we should begin now the main quest of this game. So he continued moving toward the sewers of KH-Town. The air there was thick and filthy, challenging every sense. Ugh, the smell of it. As he walked he could not help but mutter, "Damn, I knew this would happen, but didn't expect it to be this disgusting." Looking at the cleaning quest requiring rat tails as completion reward 2 coins for each tail, Rockin held his breath, hesitating with the chief. "Should I just leave now? Well, guess I'll accept it. According to the route, I need to complete 10 missions in order before the main one. Best to finish everything quickly and as much as possible." When Rockin stepped through the dark corridor, his pupils suddenly froze as if spotting something. In front of him, a grotesque creature yawned loudly with an ear-piercing sound that made the air heavy, and when he looked closely, the hideous forms appeared as the twisted mutant rats slithering around. Observing them, Rockin showed extreme disgust. "These things are disgusting. Enjoy your meal, huh?" Having found a tasty prey in the darkness, the mutant rat screeched sharply and dashed toward him. As it approached Rockin, it opened its mouth wide, as if to swallow him in one bite. However, before it could act, a bright slash cut across its body. He had swiftly used the new axe to cleave it in half, sending it to its early grave. Watching the monster's body fade in the brilliant light, Rockin gritted his teeth in irritation. How dare a filthy rat? Covering his beloved nose, he affirmed firmly, "Well, it seems like I have found the right place." But just as that thought passed, a rumbling sound echoed from deep within the sewer, making him pause suspiciously. At that moment, when Rockin glanced sideways, the murky water suddenly surged violently, and from the end of the dark tunnel, a horde of rats swarmed forward, filling the space. Before that sight, his lips curved up to his ears, revealing delight. Exactly. Spinning his weapon with excitement flooding his body, Rockin laughed heartily. "You coming here yourselves makes it easier, doesn't it?" With that, Rockin swung sharp slashes that drew cold streaks of light, sweeping through the rats mercilessly. Seeing their kin attacked, the monsters roared and charged together as if to devour everything. But that scene only made him more thrilled, enjoying every moment. Their screams echoed through the sewer, resonating endlessly. One by one they fell scattered on the ground, then faded away in the cold glow covering the place. Playing with the weapon in his hand, Rockin sideboard, "They really are useless." At the same time, the system voice rang out, "An outstanding achievement. You have slain over 200 sewer rats. You have earned the achievement Rat Hunter." Lowering his gaze at the last remains fading away, he muttered thoughtfully, "Due to the plague, their bodies mutated abnormally. It must be nearby." Yet while the speculation lingered in his mind, the ground suddenly shook violently. Rockin grinned with excitement, quickly turning around with delight, like meeting the prey he longed for. From the distant darkness, a giant creature stepped out slowly, each step heavy, with grotesque breath filling the air. In front of Rockin now stood a level 23 plague rat mutant, its distorted body radiating a nauseating stench. Facing it, he gripped his weapon tightly, with lips curling in excitement, without the slightest hint of fear. Standing before that arrogant man, the level 23 plague rat suddenly shrank back. Then it screamed loudly, simultaneously unleashing a violent power. Its appearance made Rockin feel disgusted. Just looking at it was enough to make him nauseous. "Let's finish this quickly." At that moment, the plague rat's huge tail rushed toward him at a dizzying speed, but he only needed to slightly tilt his head to the side to dodge it effortlessly. Wherever its lower body moved, Rockin could evade it with his superior body technique. Realizing that playing around like this was enough, he decided to draw his weapon. "This disgusting rat, you dare swing that grotesque tail near me." Immediately, the most flexible part of its body was cut off, making it scream in pain so intense it went numb. Under Rockin's sharp axe blade, the plague rat cowered as if it now knew fear. That action made him momentarily proud. "Good, now give me your head. I'll finish you quickly." But it refused to give up, instead raising its head to the sky and puffing its cheeks. Then it spat out a thick green liquid, his eyes clearly showing surprise. Because he couldn't react in time, Rockin's left arm was almost hit, just by an inch. He immediately turned to look at the liquid hissing and smoking on the ground. "Poison, huh? It's been a while, so I forgot." Then he frowned as he saw his clothes scorched. The system quickly notified, "You have been poisoned by the plague rat. Your vitality will decrease by 1 every 10 seconds. While Rockin was distracted, It fiercely charged again with a murderous determination not to relent. That action made him extremely irritated, grinding his teeth. This troublesome rat. The plague rat raised its disgusting foot high, intending to strike directly at Rockin. But he calmly took a deep breath as if gathering power and preparing for the next move. Indeed, the very next second Rockin activated the skill battle roar, then shouted loudly, the sound echoing straight into its body. Clearly, the effect of that skill was no small matter. All its stats from strength, agility to defense were instantly reduced. In contrast to its ruined state, Rockin was overflowing with vitality as he spun his axe blade into a circle like a propeller. His other hand clenched into a fist and pulled back for momentum, wearing his trademark sinister grin. The target, of course, was the plague rat standing right in front of him. The axe handle continued spinning rapidly, as if naturally trapping the monster within. And through that opening Rockin poured all his strength into the punch. In just an instant, the plague rat's body was blown far away without a chance to react. That made him laugh gleefully. Ha ha ha, you think you can beat me with just poison? But he still couldn't help exclaiming in surprise when he saw the monster still moving. Wow. Then he even blurted out a compliment as its wounds healed on their own. Not bad, so you're a boss monster with a recovery skill too. All right then, that makes it even more fun. Come here. It was unclear whether it understood Rockin's taunting words or not, but at that moment it was undeniably enraged, running while baring its jagged and terrifying teeth. Just as it charged in, Rockin effortlessly sidestepped to evade the attack filled with flaws. Taking advantage of that, he gripped his weapon tightly with a sinister smile. Using the dash skill combined with the critical strike, Rockin fiercely counterattacked with several sharp slashes. The momentum and excitement made him nearly lose control. Wonderful. Let's see how long you can endure. The plague rat had no way to fight back, forced to stand there as Rockin dominated the battle. In the end, it was beaten until its body was no longer intact. The plague rat's recovery ability was useless in this case, which made Rockin extremely pleased. Looks like you're done for, huh? Seeing that its head could still move, he deliberately provoked it. Huh, look at you, still want to fight. Then he forcefully raised his foot as the plague rat frantically and madly reacted. And he stomped down decisively, silencing it forever. No more chances. The system quickly updated. You have leveled up. You have defeated the plague rat disaster boss. Once everything was finally settled, it was time for Rockin to bandage his wounds using the first aid skill he had taught himself. His condition improved as the system notified. You have successfully detoxified. Poison resistance has been formed. However, the fatigue from the mind is hard to resolve. This battle was quite troublesome, but at least I gained poison resistance. When his body felt stronger, he stood up and looked ahead. Now then, I'll take what I want. Then Rockin activated the butcher's skill he had learned in KH-Town City. In just moments, he extracted a purple stone radiating a terrifying aura. Found it, the disaster gem. However, it also brought bad luck to Rockin. You have been cursed by disaster. The notification appeared immediately. Your stats will be slightly reduced. Vitality will decrease by 5 every 10 seconds. If you do not recover quickly, you will have to return to the city. Yet he remained calm, as expected. In my previous life, I was quite surprised by this curse, but now it's different. After that, he took steps back toward where he started. Time to leave. Go heal up. Soon the image of KH-Town capital appeared before his eyes. After opening the cloth bag, someone looked quite satisfied with the items inside. Not bad, those rats were tougher than expected. It turned out to be Damien, the guard at the city gate. Well done, here's your reward. The system immediately notified. You have completed the sewer cleaning quest, counting rat tails, and you have received 10 silver coins. Taking advantage of that, Rockin pretended to hand him the disaster gem. Oh, I also picked up a strange gem while on the mission. Damien looked confused. That is, in just a second, he realized the issue. That must be a cursed item. Look at you. There's a mark on your face. You've been cursed. That's troublesome. Can you give this to Lord Steroian? I'll inform him, and you go heal right away. The plan's failure made Rockin frustrated. Damn it. Just take it already. Even an event popped up making him grumble. I can't even refuse the quest because of this reward. Shortly after, Damien handed him a cloth bag. Thanks, you look terrible, take this. Rockin's face went blank. Okay, leave it to me. The system quickly updated. You have received 5 low-grade potions. Not stopping there, Damien covered his nose and reminded, and go bathe as soon as possible. The sewer smell is strong. Soon after, Rockin reached the healing place Damien had mentioned. Its appearance greatly impressed him. Such a huge building. They must have cast tons of magic on its structure. Completely different from the Berserker Guild building. Anyway, mages were the most popular choice even in my previous life. Those bastards, at least pay some attention to berserkers for once. Damn it, it's getting harder to move, because his health was now at a critical 30%. No matter how people avoided him on the street, Rockin kept moving toward his target. I must hurry. He struggled, step by step, climbing the stairs. Then he pushed open the wooden door and gasped between breaths. Anyone here? Carrying the demeanor of a great master, Steroyan calmly turned to ask, Who are you? But even he couldn't stand the stench Rockin carried. You should have bathed before coming here. Without hesitation, Rockin handed over the disaster gem. I came to heal, and I found this in the sewer. I was told to bring it to you. Seeing it, Steroyan couldn't help but exclaim, Oh my, isn't this the plague gem? You did the right thing coming to me. Lifting curses is my specialty. Quickly, give it to me. That unusually eager attitude didn't make Rockin trust him at all. Instead, his eyes showed vigilance. The man grew even more anxious. What are you doing? Give it to me. That cursed gem is corroding you right now. But Rockin's reply was surprising and clearly against his will. I'll give it to you if you're really Lord Steroyan. His eyes immediately changed. What? While Steroyan looked confused. What are you talking about? Rockin had already silently summoned his weapon. Then he firmly aimed the sharp axe blade forward, making the man freeze. You. The tension caused such panic that Steroyan finally shouted loudly, What is the meaning of this? Steroyan was frightened as he looked at the axe in front of him, not knowing what to do when he heard Rockin's provocative voice. If you are truly Steroyan, then you should easily be able to block my axe, right? He grabbed the old man's collar tightly while decisively swinging the axe up. Try it, or I will kill you. Seeing the opponent seemingly about to split him in half with one strike, Steroyan panicked. Wait, stop, the old man shouted so loudly that a nearby bird was startled, flapping its wings and flying up, making the potted plant by the window frame sway. Steroyan's body in Rockin's hand quickly dissolved into a faint thin mist. Phew, I lose. And his real form gradually appeared, his hand gently stroking his beard as he said, That was a clone to test your magic skills. I didn't expect to be found out by a berserker like this. Rockin suddenly felt awkward, thinking to himself, I thought he was the bird on the window frame. Aren't they usually transformed into animals? Well, I am the only one who knows it's because of the way I passed that damned Tolkien's tutorial. Thanks, my friend. Then suddenly his eyes widened in astonishment, as if he had seen something very surprising. The system sent a message. Applause for your insight in discovering the lie of a high-level magician without any assistance. You have received the title of the first person to see through deceit. Illusion resistance increased by 20%. Rockin happily thought to himself, Wow, it's a unique grade. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't have realized this. Lucky indeed. Steroyan beside him impatiently patted his shoulder to remind him. Now hurry and give it here. You are in a very dangerous condition right now. Looking at the warning message sent, your health has dropped below 10%. Rockin suddenly realized, he's right. I don't have much blood left, and I have already used up all the bandages. But he just calmly replied, Still fine. Steroyan was momentarily startled by this attitude. Rockin held the bell he had just received. A sly look appeared on his face. This time I have to check if you are real. You can't fool me. The bell of truth immediately rang out, being made difficult. The old man gritted his teeth in anger, his mind screaming, This crazy bastard. When the young man confirmed the other was telling the truth, He laughed loudly and quickly took out the disaster gem. You are real. Here, take it. Steroyan took the gem and grumpily shoved something into Rockin's mouth. Now drink this. After drinking that thing he received, the plague curse has increased. His mood became cheerful for a while. Oh, I feel better now. Rockin looked at Steroyan's serious expression as he faced the disaster gem and speculated. He must be a high-rank person. Suddenly the gem in the old man's hand flared up with a current of purple and black energy intertwining and swirling in the air. Steroyan carefully observed it and wondered. Perhaps this gem spread the disease to those sewer rats, which is why they mutated so much. He turned to Rockin. Any other special information? Perhaps this gem spread the disease to those sewer rats, which is why they mutated so much. His eyebrows furrowed tightly. Steroyan made a hypothesis. Using the rats to create chaos? No, soldiers would be able to control it much more easily. Rockin casually said a phrase full of implication. That gem, it also looks deadly to humans. The old man instinctively replied. Well, you know. Before finishing his words, Steroyan suddenly froze. His eyes widened in astonishment. His heart skipped a beat. Seeing the old man's expression, the young man only smiled slightly. Steroyan panicked. Yes, humans are the final target. Rockin silently listened to him analyzing. If those infected rats wander through the alleys or stay in the sewers, oh no, I can already roughly imagine what they intend to do. Hearing that, he was extremely satisfied, secretly admiring. Indeed, a high-level magician is different. With just a few clues he could still find the reason so quickly. Rockin's mind had already pictured the tragic scene. They intend to spread the plague throughout the city through the sewers. In fact, it will begin from the rat districts first before spreading widely everywhere before they can notice it. And then the players had to handle 10 chains of hell missions to deal with the epidemic. But I will assume that I have passed these 10 mission chains. Steroyan hurriedly stood up. We must go report to the captain of the guard immediately. Before he really left, he did not forget to remind. Come back to find me in 2 days. Not long after the mission notification was sent, the person who spread the epidemic required to complete and meet Steroyan again in 2 days. Rockin unconsciously scratched his ear, boredly sighed once. He looked around the quiet space and wondered, so should I go now? I have never played a game like this. Rockin did not know what to do next. Then the system sounded again. Thanks to a player, the first fund of the first main scenario has now been decided. Therefore, the outbreak mission and other missions will be deleted. Hearing that he was surprised, an announcement Stunned for a while, Rockin suddenly realized, the outbreak is the first mission of the 10 mission chains. Because of me the mission disappeared That means there is no way for others to get close to the main scenario. Now to reach the main scenario, I will have to complete many other difficult missions instead of having to do the chain missions. He smiled excitedly. I must hurry, he said, to come back in 2 days. Coincidentally, there is a great place to spend 2 days there. Scene change. In the quiet late night, at a gloomy cemetery, there was a shadow moving faintly, gradually appearing. Let's see, from the entrance. Rockin walked while observing around. Was it the east side, Looking at the shiny armor on his shoulders, he calculated. The remaining money was used to buy a throwing axe and some shield armor. Probably can use it when reaching about level 50. Stopping for a bit, Rockin silently evaluated. This is a cemetery, a place that has been confirmed that it has nothing. He curled his lips proudly. But I know the secret of this place. Those naive bastards, well, reasonable when not knowing information that for months still has not been announced. Very quickly Rockin noticed a strange object lying on the ground not far away. Oh, found it. Information about that object was sent. Fake leg of the gravekeeper, normal grade. Even if you bring it to him, you will only be kicked out and will not receive any reward. He silently repeated, bring it to him, you will only be kicked out. Then analyzed. That's why almost all players think it is a useless item, but... Another tombstone completely different from the others appeared before his eyes. Rockin's cheerful voice sounded. Here it is. The fake leg was quickly attached to the different point on the tombstone. The humming sound immediately resounded. Rockin's face was very proud when seeing the movement of that tombstone. A deep tunnel appeared, the system informed. A secret dungeon has been found. The cemetery under the moon. You received the title seeker and are the first person to receive this title. He excitedly said to himself, "Great, I must have this to get money." Looking at the detailed instructions sent, the first seeker, vision improved, can see clearly in dark places, can find hidden equipment with low rate. Rockin exclaimed, "Thanks to this title, not only my vision improved, but it also marks hidden devices with a light even if the rate is low. This title will be very convenient." After that he also received another skill from the system. You will get bonus, stat points and item drop rate will increase by 30%. Rockin stepped to the front of the tunnel with a bit of hesitation. Because I also just got bonus for the first entry. Should I go down here to earn more profit, huh? But then he did not think much and carefully went down the secret dungeon. Unexpectedly, as soon as he reached the place, the gate rumbled shut. Rockin was a bit startled. The darkness here was quickly lit up by the torches along the corridor in a strange way. At this moment he could carefully observe the space clearly. Must sweep all before leaving, huh? This is a secret dungeon, so not strange, but more than that. What if a ghost monster appears? I can't even chop it with the axe. Thinking of that, Rockin shivered. And indeed, as the black crow-mouth did not have to wait long behind him, immediately sounded hair-raising noises. A legion, level 26, old grave skeletons, growling appeared, then staggered, pulling toward Rockin. The shiny axe quickly flashed. The nearest monster's head flew off in an instant. Its bony body decayed and fell down to the ground. Rockin did not even look once. When seeing them become fierce, rushing toward him, he was surprised. Skeletons. Then quickly raised the weapon in hand. You are a half-dead spine already. But seeing you is still better than seeing those sewer rats. Rockin swung the axe down. The hissing sound came with each move. The monsters were split. The parts rolled scattered on the ground. He held stance, then spun the axe in his hand like the dance of death to wait for the next attack. Rockin was excited, lips curling into a very sly smile. He shouted loudly, "That's right." After that, any skeleton warrior rushing in was finished by one axe. The scene of skeletons piled up that only existed in legends now truly became reality. The more he fought, the more excited he became. Suddenly Rockin strongly released an extremely decisive strike. The monster hit by the blow was impacted so hard that it flew backward, and when hitting the ground its body immediately shattered with no shape left. The challenge was quickly completed. Rockin looked at the result before him and sighed once. Simple. The notification was sent instantly. You have leveled up. Rockin level 22. He excitedly opened. Let's see. Now it must be very long already. Looking at a line of stats on the board, health 1 to 110, strength 132, endurance 96, intelligence 15, Rockin happily said to himself, already have more than 100 additional stat points. I think now no need to save anymore. His hand gently swiped the screen to equip more while calculating. Now I don't need to hurry, but to increase hunting speed. Very quickly the stats on the screen changed in an upward direction. Health 1 aim 112, strength 200, endurance 100, intelligence 39. Rockin was very satisfied. Feels great. My strength reached 200 already. To level up more effectively, I need mana, so this time I also added some intelligence points. He laughed loudly, expression full of excitement hard to describe. Alright, 2 days until the main scenario starts. Then let's reach level 30 before that. Level 30 before that. Time gradually passed. Any dry skeleton that appeared and rushed forward was cut into many pieces in the blink of an eye. The moves and agility of Rockin appeared and disappeared among the monsters. In the space, the horrifying screams kept echoing without stop. When this simple level-up mission ended, he sighed once, then complained, starting to feel bored already. Suddenly in front of Rockin rushed out a skeleton of huge size, much bigger than the dry bones just now. The system displayed, "This is level 30 Bone Warrior, Dungeon Boss." As soon as it appeared it roared to show power. Its 2 eyes were red like 2 coals, staring straight at the opponent. However, before it could attack, That level 30 warrior was already powerfully struck by Rockin with an axe blow, splitting its body into two halves. The level up message was immediately updated. Rockin had reached level 30. He picked his nose then scornfully, so weak yet pretending to be dangerous. Rockin checked the stats on the screen while thinking to himself, finally reached level 30. Everything in this damned place has ended. I have gone everywhere without rest for the past 2 days to defeat the monsters right when they just respawned. Quite great. Leveled up 10 times just in 2 days. Must have collected a lot of money too. I have 1 gold 80 silver. He looked at the loot just obtained then concluded, more importantly, I have the bone knight armor that any warrior would want to own. But it looks too ugly so I probably will not use it. Sitting on the pile of knight armors, Rockin rested his chin thinking, also collected quite a lot more. Suddenly he came up with an idea. How about selling them and investing a bit? I already know the future of the Lord, so investing is as easy as turning the hand. Rockin stood up, put the axe on his shoulder. Let's start. Though leaving this wonderful hunting place is a bit sad. After the successful transaction he smiled slyly. But selling information about this place also earns quite money, huh? Especially for those organizations like guilds wanting to train new members. Surely they will flock here to see. Walking toward the exit, Rockin laughed loudly. What should I do with that money? Buy new weapons, or buy equipment with better stats? Scene change. At this time Steroyan was at the meeting place and used magic to open and scan each page of a book to investigate something. He pushed the door open and walked in. Hey old man, I am back. He raised his head looking. Finally you came back. I am sorry for leaving you so suddenly. Really, because at that time I had something very urgent. Rockin curiously, they found the culprit already, huh? Steroyan gently said, no, after investigating everyone still could not collect anything. Also no witness. Hearing that he slightly frowned. Of course not. No way the culprit could be caught that easily. Rockin remembered those people wearing black clothes and masks he met in the previous life. Those fallen disciples. The story already handled the matter of stopping them. But basically, I already prevented their plan right from the start. He carefully considered. If investigated, I think maybe I could find something. Steroyan's voice continued. That is why I decided to read the memory of the land. In his hand suddenly appeared a green gem. Rockin just saw it, then secretly exclaimed, oh damn, that thing, huh? The information about that gem was provided by the system. The gem of earth. It has the ability to use special magic. He thought to himself, because the magic level is low, it seems it does not have much effect. But when used, the user can see what happened in a certain area thanks to the memory skill of the land. Thanks to it many times they found ways to hunt monsters. Steroyan held the gem with a pensive face, then concluded, with this we will be able to find out their identity. The old man stood up and said, I intend to ask you for something. Can you help me? Rockin clicked his tongue pretending, at least I should listen first. But inside he already knew, anyway I have to do it. This is the main mission after all. Steroyan seriously said, thank you. Although for now we have stopped them. We do not know when they will attack again. To prevent that I need you to help me with a few things. As soon as he finished speaking the system sent a mission. Collect the blood of an orc warrior. Collect the blood of a wild beast. Reward experience and 10 silver coins. Title Apprentice of Steroyan. Rockin carefully calculated. Blood of orc warrior and wild beast, huh? Surely they will not willingly give blood, so I have to go hunting. But now I am possessing the title of Honored Orc Warrior, so I cannot hunt orc warriors. I even increased their trust and affection. He felt really troubled. Fighting them and losing that title is my only choice. Is there nothing else I can do? Scene change. The sky above was clear blue. Rockin was standing in front of a large wooden gate. Seeing an orc guarding, he immediately called out, hey, open the door. It recognized Rockin and warmly said, human warrior, I still remember. You are that respectful one. A loud sound echoed. The wooden gate quickly opened to welcome him. The orcs surrounded Rockin asking, welcome. It has been a while, my friend. What brings you here? He did not answer immediately but stayed silent, pretending to think, his eyes showing a little cunning. Then Rocken reassured while probing. Nothing big, but can I ask a favor? The orc lightly hit his chest, showing agreement, then cheerfully said, I will help. Say it. His voice rang out, I need a little of your blood. Can you give me some? It was startled. What, blood? The orcs answered one after another. The blood of a warrior cannot be given like that. Sorry, warrior, only shed on the battlefield. To let blood fall elsewhere is disrespect. Rocken became angry. They dare to talk about respect. I do not care about that stuff. If they are like that, then I still have another plan. Seeing the axe in the orc's hand, he made a new request. Then can you lend me your axe? It immediately replied, sure, take it. Seeing Rocken borrow the weapon, then just leave without any difficulty. The orc stood puzzled, not understanding what happened. It curiously called after him, you leaving already, my friend? He waved to the orc. No, I have something to do for a while. I will be back soon. They happily waved back and said, all right, my friend, see you soon. In the corner, Rocken's face and smile showed extreme slyness. He gripped the axe tightly in his hand. If they just gave me some blood, it would be perfect. In Rocken's mind, a plan already prepared began to turn, but unfortunately they must protect the honor of the orc race. Then so be it. Scene change. In front of him, inside the foggy village, appeared a large camp of the wild beast tribe. Under the wall that protected the territory there was one patrolling guard. It carried a weapon on its shoulder and leisurely walked forward. Yet in the blink of an eye suddenly stopped. The wild beast quickly turned around, its eyes flashing with high alertness. It tightly held the hook in its hand, taking a stance, then shouted loudly, who is there? Show yourself. As soon as the words ended, a strange weapon with incredible speed flew toward it, forcing it to quickly dodge. The weapon, after missing, struck deep into the tree behind. It glanced and was surprised, an axe. At that moment Rocken suddenly appeared, the axe in his hands, slashing cleanly across the wild beast's neck. You dodged, huh? Impressive. I knew wild beasts would be faster than orcs. The space was filled with a scream of pain. The system sent a message. You have obtained the blood of wild beast. Its blood was collected by him into a glass bottle. Looking at the lifeless body on the ground, Rocken felt a bit sorry. Sorry, my friend. I did not want to do this either. Suddenly he heard the voices of other wild beasts approaching. Who is there? I just heard a scream. Rocken quickly hid behind a tree and silently listened to them talking. Who could have done this? This is an orc axe. Those hateful pigs did it. His mind recalled. Wild beasts are creatures similar to humans. They hate the orcs deeply. Throughout history, these two races have fought each other for control of the forest. I will provoke a war between the two sides with this event. Rocken smiled cunningly. Anyway, sooner or later it will happen. I just make it come sooner. At the orc tribe territory, at the designated spot, an orc was seriously guarding. Suddenly a hook flew from nowhere, grazing its ear, then stuck into the wall behind. They were both shocked and curious. What is that? A sword? It is the sword of the wild beasts. I know it. Rocken calmly watched the orcs getting angry. They are attacking us. Clearly so. Unforgivable. He secretly laughed and cursed the fools, then stayed quiet, letting the orcs argue for a while. Then he slowly walked over. What happened? They said. You came back. There is an emergency. This is the sword of the wild beasts. Rocken acted casually. On my way here, I saw some wild beast warriors. Maybe they are about to attack this place. The orcs shouted. I knew it. Warriors, we must fight. We cannot lose to those weak ones. Taking the chance, he proposed a strategy. Calm down. Do you only think like that? Why must we wait until they come here? Both provoking and persuading, Rocken suggested, if we are going to fight anyway, why not attack first? If everyone goes, then I will help too. Hearing that, they immediately agreed. Good idea. Humans are really smart. Suddenly a huge strange orc appeared, asking, what is going on? Seeing him, Rocken's face darkened. Rocken observed that massive figure and wondered, who is that? Seeing the other orcs talking with Churu, he partly guessed, not the one before, must be the new orc leader. Quietly waiting, Rocken saw the hand holding the sword tighten. Then Churu slowly raised the sword hilt to his chest and said one word, perfect. Next he was the most excited one. His strong arm raised the sword and shouted, "We must attack first. Follow me." Gather the warriors. Rocken secretly felt delighted. Everything became easier. He lifted the axe onto his shoulder, blending in with the excited orcs. "All right, let's go. Let's have a fun time together on the battlefield." In the silent night, suddenly echoed a gloomy and chilling sound that made the heavy atmosphere even more suffocating, as if the darkness itself was trembling. In that dim space, a pair of fierce eyes flashed. The sharp gaze pierced through the black night, making the heart of the witness tighten instantly. The ferocious face with sharp fangs of an orc slowly appeared, faintly under the weak light, both savage and eerie. Immediately after, a large group of orcs poured out like a storm. The sound of their feet pounding heavily on the ground echoed throughout the forest, making the earth shake violently. Their muscles bulged, veins stood out. In their hands they gripped huge and sharp weapons. The glint of steel shone like a signal of a coming massacre. Bakel trembled, hiding behind a bush by the roadside, his heart pounding violently, each beat wanting to burst out of his chest, nervously following every heavy step of the orc horde. He only dared to breathe very softly, afraid that even a small sound would be enough to reveal his trace to those bloodthirsty monsters. Crazy. They are too bloodthirsty now. But before they were never like that. What has happened? This scene made Kalen freeze, his body stiff, unable to move. The fear flooded through his whole body. Cold sweat drenched his shirt. Drops rolled down his back and temples. "Do you think they will keep fighting like this? We have to run before everything." Hearing that, Bakel immediately snapped in protest. "Are you crazy? Did you see how many of them there are? If we get caught while running, we will surely die. We will hide here for a while." But before he could finish speaking, Bakel's pupils suddenly shrank violently, as if he had witnessed something terrifying beyond imagination. His teeth clenched so hard that his facial muscles stiffened. His mouth closed tight, holding back a scream. He held his breath, focusing all his attention on observing. What is that? Why is there a human here? Is he a player? Among the tall orcs appeared a human figure full of arrogance, completely different from those monsters, yet radiating a terrifying aura of authority. Rocken rested the heavy giant axe on his shoulder, walking slowly among the orcs, calmly as if this was the territory where he was the absolute ruler. Kalen, reminded by him, was extremely astonished. "No, but why? How can there be a human standing among the orcs? Who is he?" Bakel's face had turned pale with no trace of blood. Every small movement showed uncontrollable trembling. Then suddenly he turned to Kalen, changing his mind. "Hey, we have no choice left. Run." That sudden reaction made Kalen confused. "What? You just said not to run." His heartbeat raced, his voice urgent. "Shut up and listen to me. If we do not run, we will surely die." Right at that moment, an orc silently appeared behind Bakel, its eyes glowing like two ghostly lamps staring at him. The scene was horrifying to the extreme. Kalen faced those eyes directly, so scared that his soul left his body. His throat choked, stammering, finally managed to say, Be behind." Immediately, a piercing scream tore through the night, echoing across the forest, making both the orc horde and Rocken stop in suspicion. The orc swung its arm, throwing Bakel and Kalen to the ground, tossing them miserably right at Rocken's feet. Kalen groaned in pain, his face covered in mud. Seeing that, Rocken slightly frowned. Is not he the one I fought before?" Kalen's face was now horribly deformed, bruised and swollen, blood flowing from his nose and mouth in streaks. That horrifying image made Bakel's whole body tremble, his limbs weak, afraid to come close to help his friend. Faint sobs choked weakly from his throat. In desperation, he rushed forward and grabbed Rocken's shoulder blades, his eyes full of panic and pleading. "Hey, those orcs. They are on your side, right? I do not know what happened, but please spare me. We know each other." Before the plea was finished, a fierce punch struck the man's face, breaking his nose. Blood spurted bright red. The orc who delivered the blow withdrew his hand, his eyes blazing with killing intent, his voice growling with anger. "How rude! You dare touch our honored warrior, Rocken. Do you know him?" Bakel's arrogant attitude flashed through his mind. The corner of his mouth curved into an evil smile. "Ah well, I do not remember clearly. If you see him, then you can deal with him." Receiving the permission, the orcs all advanced to surround Bakal like a pack of hungry wolves encircling prey. He covered his bleeding nose with his hand, gritted his teeth and cursed, "Damn it." Suppressing the rising fear, he wildly swung his fist forward, screaming in despair, "Get away from me." But his body, considered muscular, was nothing before the tremendous power of the orc horde. Rocken stood outside the circle, his tone delighted, full of sarcasm. "Be more careful next time, newbie." Bakel's lips trembled repeatedly before the overwhelming strength, and finally only pitiful screams echoed in the night. After a while, the orc horde changed direction, fiercely clashing with the wild beasts that had just poured in. Dust and splinters flew everywhere. The battlefield sank into chaos. The sound of swords and collisions rang out. Among them, Churu's authoritative shout stood out. "Kill all those filthy wild beasts. Do not let any survive." Amid that chaotic scene, Rocken remained calm. He strolled through gaps full of blood and corpses. The metallic clang was ear-piercing. Sparks flew everywhere. He slowly approached a giant orc corpse that had just fallen. A glass vial suddenly appeared in his hand, containing a viscous purple liquid that shimmered with a faint light. Rocken curled his lips in a satisfied smile. His eyes flashed with a demonic gleam. "Ha ha!" Finally, the cold voice from the system announced, "You have collected the blood of an orc warrior." The current situation was entirely under his control. They did better than he expected. They must be furious. "I am the one who caused it." But Rocken's hands reached back. He tilted his face to the night sky, his voice full of madness. "I will join this fun too." Immediately after, he activated the charge roar skill. A mad sound like the howl of a wild beast diffused across the battlefield. All stats of the wild beasts instantly dropped sharply. They staggered from the effect, roaring in panic. "How can humans do this? Those orc monsters have hired mercenaries." In the frenzy, both orcs and wild beasts unconsciously agreed on the same target. Their eyes full of killing intent simultaneously locked onto Rocken. They roared in unison, "Kill him!" He nimbly pierced through the ranks of wild beasts. Each axe swing ended a life. No one could even touch the hem of his coat. "You think you will kill me? Bring the leader here." Rocken's current state was wildly frenzied. His whole body exuded terrifying momentum. And there was another reason he started this battle. If he only needed orc blood, then he would just pretend to be a wild beast and kill one of them. But in fact, his real target was the wild beast leader, a boss monster stronger than the orc leader. Moreover, wild beasts are not obsessed with one-on-one fights like orcs. Therefore, handling him would be more difficult. Using the orcs to eliminate the wild beast leader, this was the best opportunity he could have. "All right, where are you?" While Rocken was still searching amid the smoke-filled battlefield, a large explosion suddenly rang out ahead. Dust billowed up, attracting all his attention. Rocken's hand immediately clenched the axe haft. His mood excited. Found it. The giant axe spun a practiced circle in the air. The swung arc drew a deadly trajectory. It seemed no longer a weapon, but had become part of his body, merged into his flesh. On the other side of the battlefield, Churu was falling into a passive position before the successive attacks, each slash interlocked, sealing every escape. He gritted his teeth, sweat drenched his forehead, could only brace to withstand each move, waiting desperately for a slim chance to counterattack. The battle between Churu and Eric grew more intense. Each blade and axe stroke carried deadly intent. A single slip would mean instant death. Eric, level 73 wild beast leader, laughed savagely. "Enemy of the clan, I will surely kill you." The light from sparks thrown by weapon friction illuminated his bony face, highlighting his bloodthirsty eyes. Suddenly he shuddered. Survival instinct alarmed him fiercely. He glanced alertly toward an uncertain direction in the space. A sharp axe blade suddenly whistled past Eric's face. Within an inch, the gust howled fiercely, making his skin sting. He reacted swiftly, leaning aside in time to avoid it. At this breathless close distance, Eric could clearly feel the killing wind blowing at him. A few white hairs were cut off and flew. Then he turned smugly. "Ha! Such glancing attacks are useless." But just as laughter still lingered on his lips, Rockin's figure suddenly appeared right in front of him, silent as a ghost, without a sound of warning. He activated the strike skill. His eyes flashed with mad light. His hand gripped the axe haft until his knuckles went white. There is an opening. At that moment, Eric truly panicked. His whole body chilled. Damn it, must stop him. Although his mind screamed loudly, ordering his body to dodge, each muscle reacted too slowly and heavily. In that brief instant, Rockin's axe descended with tremendous force, striking straight into his chest. A heavy impact rang out. Eric was hurled away. His massive body rolled in the air. He coughed up a mouthful of thick greenish blood, the feeling of his viscera being crushed into fragments. Eric's huge body flew straight back, slammed hard into the stone wall. His eyes wide open, rolled back, still clinging to a last shred of consciousness. Rockin's voice was low and full of cruel sarcasm. "Haha, you are stronger than you look. I planned to deal with both of your hands, but did not expect you to keep one. But now what will you do? Your subordinates are all dead. There is nowhere left to run. I do not have much patience left. Next will be your head." Eric's whole body drooped. Muscles that once bulged now had no strength left, only the clenched teeth grinding harshly. His pride shattered to pieces. Unable to accept the truth, he screamed madly, "A lowly human like you dares." Rockin did not bother to give Eric a chance to struggle further, directly swung his hand. The sharp cold blade of the axe tore through the wind, tracing a decisive arc, slashing across the opponent's neck. The head separated from the body, spinning and floating in the air. He smiled a savage smile. The strong smell of blood rushed straight into his nose, but instead of disgust, he felt pleasure. After that came a dull sound. "You have leveled up. You have defeated the ruler of the harsh forest, obtained the title Conqueror of the Harsh Forest. As the first person to possess this title, strength and agility increased by 10. All stats increased by 5%. Before the tragic death of Eric, the orc horde went mad, every huge fist raised high, veins bulging. Wild roars echoed together, shaking the entire battlefield. We defeated them. Suddenly, another transparent screen suddenly popped up beside him, making Rockin narrow his eyes in doubt, muttering, "Huh, another one." On the screen, the new achievement was clearly displayed. You have obtained the title Dark Curtain. As the first person to possess this title, effect, intelligence, and understanding increased by 20, can use to conceal identity. He laughed, covering his mouth as he studied the line of text with interest. "Huh, look at this. I knew there would be the title Conqueror of the Harsh Forest, but did not expect there to be the Dark Curtain as well. Here it says because I defeated 2 enemies. Seems the system does not allow orcs to be my allies." Suddenly Rockin's eyes became contemplative, a trace of thought rising in his heart. "So I only have good reputation with them. Meaning they still have a chance to turn against me, huh? TCH. Now I have increased stats and also possess a special ability to conceal identity. This will be very useful." Meanwhile, on the other side, the orc horde continued their mad celebration, screams blending with the rhythm of victory drums. "Excellent. Kill them all." After the last remnants of the beasts were completely wiped out, the familiar cold voice of the system announced again, "The orcs have won. The area used by the beasts will become a ruined village. Inside will appear the wrath of the beasts." Rockin stood at the edge of the battlefield watching that lively atmosphere. They really enjoy this, huh? After everything was neatly settled, he did not hesitate further, immediately turned around, beginning the next journey. Time to return to the old man. The night gradually fell over the city, weak yellow light shining from window frames, standing out amid the darkness. At the house of Steroyan, the old man was holding 2 glass bottles containing blood, one of an orc, one of the beast leader. His eyes widened in disbelief, face showing clear doubt of life itself. "Done already? Because of the high difficulty, I thought you would need more time." Rockin only smiled modestly, but in his tone was still an unhidden arrogance. "TCH, not that hard." The old man turned and instructed, "Wait for me a moment." Right at that time, the mechanical voice of the system echoed in his ears. "You have obtained the title First Apprentice of Steroyan." Rockin slightly raised his eyebrow. "Huh? First Apprentice?" The screen continued to show detailed description. Effect: strength and endurance increased by 10. Assistant of the detective will give you 5% more movement speed. After reading, Rockin laughed in satisfaction, shaking his head in amazement. Oh, the effect is good too. Not letting him wait long, Steroyan took out another glass bottle containing dark purple liquid. Here, done. Bring this to Materian, who is at Trinsic. Immediately, the system announced a new quest. Deliver the newly improved antidote created for Materian, who is at Trinsic. Reward is 3 silver coins and experience points. Rockin received the item, feeling great anticipation. This is the final quest in KH-Ton. Finally heading to Trinsic. As soon as officially received the mission from Steroyan, the game console belonging to Rockin suddenly emitted smoke as a sign that he had to awaken from that place. After too much mental exertion in the Lord, finally he could temporarily rest. Phew. Why did they create something like this but limit the time? All I have is time. But thinking again still feels reasonable, so Rockin clicked his tongue. Well, to preserve health for the long term is fine. So it takes at least 5 more hours before I can log in again, right? Now I will spend time to continue reading the previous post. In his heart recalling the time he explored the secret dungeon, I had prepared for this situation by taking pictures of the items and then posting them. Hope there are many comments. However, there was some news that made him raise his eyebrows to the top. Turns out somehow the topic of Rockin had attracted much attention. It even went up to the section of hot posts. Next, he could not help being surprised and wondered, what is that? Surely everyone will only doubt. Surely many people commented saying it is fake, right? Then there was something else that made his pupils slightly widen. Another shouting news board also appeared with the content secret dungeon has been discovered. The conquest of another dungeon outside the public one by honorary reporter Ruor, making Rockin emotional. Honorary reporter, This one appeared already. Each detail and image he scrolled through, as a web game magazine reporter and famous user. Ruor had written about the secret dungeon, revealing its information in the form of an adventure story. The discussion under the post was lively from viewers no less. I thought there were only public dungeons. How can it be real? Could it be you just saw fake posts for the first time? Have you not read what Ruor wrote? Secret dungeon is real. But this post was uploaded before Ruor. If Ruor only changed it and uploaded, then what? No, the dungeon found by Ruor had a different group of monsters. Even the name mentioned earlier also changed. From experience, the post is very reliable. Trading may be difficult, but if meeting directly then easier, please contact me. The good news kept coming, making Rockin so happy. Because of that comment my post became famous. If not for it, maybe the post was just like bait. Also good for me. Thanks to those comments, now messages are coming continuously. First, exclude those offering the lowest prices. The ones I need to care about most are the crowds going in groups, always saying they are guilds, but actually not any guild system. I know a few famous names from the previous life, so choosing should not be difficult. The mouse kept dragging left and right while he muttered, and the safest path will be Guild MP, their name taken from Manor Play. They help beginners, teach bad PK guys, and a few other good deeds. Thanks to that good reputation, they created this name. Finally, Rockin decided and left a message. Thank you for the reply comments. See you at the cemetery east of the town. Then cheerfully hummed, all right, I have set the meeting schedule. Now just wait until then. Everything goes so smoothly it is scary. Not sure if things progressing this well is okay. Is this still fine? Should I try to push even faster? As if suddenly realizing something, the pupils belonging to him shrank, showing tight tension. Remembering the moment he completely lost under the hands of the guild Ragnarok, Rockin became even more determined. No, just follow each step according to the plan. Anyway, later there will be many things. Being impatient will not solve anything. So now I will go buy some things and breathe the air. Being a person who acts as he says. As soon as he finished thinking that, he went out and successfully carried a bag. Walking slowly on the road that was neither empty nor crowded, the buzzing talk from them spread everywhere. Those who participated were excitedly asking about the results their companions obtained. How many levels did you gain at the goblin hunting spot? 3 levels in 2 days. Great. And I only managed to level up when trying till exhausted. Maybe because the level of each person is different. Maybe it is due to control issue. Rockin, hearing that, could not help but smile knowingly. Everyone was talking about the Lord. After that, glancing around and commenting, I thought in a university area like this, there would be fewer people at the end of September. While walking step by step, suddenly he seemed to meet someone familiar, so made a huh sound. When his eyes narrowed and he had to use his hand to block the light to see clearly. What is that? Who is it? It was none other than Soo-hee, who was happily laughing with someone, making Rockin startled. She really looks familiar. And it seemed that her eyes also suddenly caught sight of him. All right, the next second the familiar tone rang out as if both already knew each other. Kim Young-min, long time no see. Until this very moment Rockin finally pouted because he suddenly remembered. Ah, remember now, Lim Soo-hee, the ex-girlfriend who cheated and dumped me. Because of the Lord, I had completely forgotten her. Maybe for her it has only been 4 months since seeing me again, but for me it feels like several years. That guy standing next to her must be the new boyfriend, right? Heard that he is good at playing the Lord. Tesk, Lim Soo-hee also likes playing games, so it turns out she likes good gamers. Next, she raised her voice in a mocking tone. I heard you are still trying, right? Clearly Rockin did not remember anything about the current time. What the hell is this? Though not clear, he could not stop himself from indignantly responding. I only acted like that to let you see. Now I am thinking how to play the Lord, but not because of you. Soo-hee responded again with a high-pitched tone. Really? Then that is great. Next she arrogantly boasted, if you have trouble about the game, then contact me. My love is an expert in the Lord. I will tell him to help you once or twice. Talking about competition is something Rockin never afraid of. Het, then what is his ID? She immediately answered in place, seems like Philia, right? You must have heard his name already. After searching through his mind, Rockin confirmed even more. Philia, ah, I do not remember any name like that, must be weak. Then, not wanting to chat nonsense with them anymore, he directly turned away and did not forget to show arrogant attitude. All right, I remember, if meet again, I will save you. Philia immediately went mad and shouted, what? Ha! Even Soo-hee added, young Min, how could that be? Unexpectedly Rockin also swung his hand provocatively. Level up as much as you can. If you have trouble, then contact me. Then could not help but secretly think, Lim Soo-hee should know my game ID is Rockin. She will soon know. Then she will regret the stupid words she said. Not clear how long passed. The back, clearly belonging to the game world, was silently standing there as if waiting for someone. The voice of another person sounded, attracting the attention of Jarek, MP. He immediately turned and asked, O-ring? The other with a sturdy body confirmed, seems like already found. Rockin used the hiding ability so the name and appearance would change randomly for 1 hour. No need to reveal his identity just because of a secret dungeon like this. Next he straightforwardly brought up the matter. You came alone, Jarek admitted without hesitation. Yes, this is valuable information, so no benefit in attracting attention. But my teammates are already ready. Just need me to contact, and they will come. His mind clear, I understand, so you want to be cautious of me. Not wanting time to pass uselessly, he urged, then continue. Unexpectedly Rockin firmly said, no. The sharp eyes, clearly belonging to one who grasped situations very well, directly aimed at the opposite man. Pay first. Have you not traded before? Need to give me something to motivate me. Responding to this reasonable matter, the aura around Jarek suddenly changed. Then I will use only one skill. We need equal safety. Rockin did not hesitate at all. All right. The skill he activated on him was nothing but a type used to check identity. Detect. The eyebrows of Jarek rose up and down in a slightly surprised but not unexpected way before the result. The caution in his heart immediately dropped. Thanks for cooperation, Krypton. I already paid part first. Let us go. Because except for the same level, the name and appearance had truly changed. This trick worked. once again using that prosthetic leg to activate the stone tablet. The gate successfully appeared under the night. Rockin could not help but stress each word. Doing this will make the entrance open. Jarek observed with thoughtful eyes. Ah, I see, it looks like some kind of device. Not bothering much, he went straight to the main issue. Keep the secret carefully. Now where is the remaining money? The man was not one to break promises. Here, if any issue I will contact you later. After an exchange, Rockin successfully became the owner of 51 gold, 98 silver, 20 copper. Only selling secret dungeon information, but got over 50 gold. The guild is the best. It is not easy to earn this amount in-game. Probably not easy to get money from guild members. Not sure if it was his real money. Once completely out of Jarek's sight, he officially returned to himself. I have finished this matter, now go to Trinsic. However, the excitement gradually got destroyed by fatigue and the endless long road. Damn it, too far. This is the problem of the Lord. It does not need to be too realistic like this. I have been walking more than half a day. After a long struggle mixed with endless complaints, finally Rockin could see the top of the castle ahead. Seems finally arrived. Because the save point was inside Khton City. Even after walking 2/3 of the way, it still caused not small anxiety to him. But do not lower guard. If die, I will have to start over. Suddenly a sound rang loud enough to attract his attention. In the nearby bush, something was shaking back and forth, constantly making not small noise. Just that was enough for the cheerful smile of Rockin to rise. Oh, that is not a monster or animal. What kind of mouse bastard is this? Before he could find who it was, a beam of light like someone teleporting suddenly exploded right behind. Just appeared, yet the opponent already spoke arrogantly with a surprised tone. Interesting. Almost hit. The greed showed clearly in the eyes and following words of Lucard. Equipment looks expensive, so must his level be high. Zephin disdainfully replied. Who knows? Maybe he likes spending money on equipment. Contrary to how one should be scared in this situation. Rockin instead became even more crazily excited. Right? There are still guys like these. The red marks in their eyes showed they had killed players and became PK. They chose people traveling to town and collected items dropped by players. As soon as the thought ended, Lucard, being the leader, slowly turned into a bandit with a smile that clearly had no good intention. Hey, my friend, Free, I think we need to talk. Without realizing he met someone even crazier, Rockin, upon hearing that, just slightly curved his lips. Talk. The battle axe was immediately summoned with killing intent overflowing in his eyes. The words escaping from his mouth carried overwhelming might. All right, I like talking a lot. I like talking a lot. I like. Seeing Rockin's attitude had not a bit of fear, on the contrary even seemed excited, making Lucard puzzled. This bastard, what's wrong? Scared stupid already, huh? Opposite, he only flashed a sly smile. Hey, kids. Pausing a beat, Rockin then changed his tone into threatening. I will let it pass if each of you hands over one piece of equipment. That sentence made him freeze for a moment. What? Facing that stunned look, Rockin again acted contemptuous. What is there to be surprised? Did you not always say these words when peeking? So I will give you a chance too. Great. However, in his heart he secretly calculated, their sole purpose is to rob equipment. Sometimes a player killed by another player will drop equipment. Of course, sometimes drops, sometimes not. The probability will be higher than monsters, but still only 10 to 20%. Hearing that, Lucard burst out laughing as if hearing a ridiculous joke. You think we are stupid? You are really crazy. If you keep showing off and get killed, then you will have to go from Khton to here again. So don't be arrogant. Once the other party bluntly refused, Rockin did not bother to force. Negotiation failed. So honestly, from the start I also did not want to let you go easily. Hearing that, he spoke with a smug tone. Too arrogant. The level here is very different from Khton. No sooner had the words ended than the atmosphere immediately changed. Malric, who had been standing next to Lucard, leaned back. His muscular hands swung the axe up. In an instant, he roared, then swung the axe straight at Rockin. However, he had time to bend down. His body slid to dodge the blow. The movement neat to the point of leaving no gap. Malric, after attacking, not yet able to recompose, suddenly startled when seeing Rockin's figure already appear right in front. Killing intent surged from his eyes as he prepared to launch a lethal counterattack. "You fool, I will send you off first." At that moment, Lucard suddenly lunged forward. The large shield in his hand rose up to block for Malric. The sudden situation made Rockin slightly surprised. In his head immediately flashed the speculation: is a reflected attack skill? Does he have the Night Guard profession? Not yet able to calculate further, the man suddenly leaped high with a shout like thunder, "I am coming." The huge weapon descended upon Rockin without mercy, making him not help but recall their tactic, chained successive attacks. But before he could regain breath, from afar a volley of sharp arrows simultaneously flew toward Rockin. The one who launched them was none other than Zephin. He looked at where his weapon fired, forming a dense rain of arrows, then excited, "Good. Even so fast you still cannot avoid this move." Yet, amid the dust cloud, he was holding tight the arrow stuck in his body. Without hesitation, Rockin coldly pulled it out and spoke hoarsely, "Coo coo coo, I am pathetic indeed." Lucard, seeing the situation, immediately sarcastically shouted, "You fool, do you see the difference in level between you and us yet? If you change your mind, then I will play fair. Why don't you leave the equipment and continue on?" Though his body had been injured, Rockin's demeanor was by no means shaken. Moreover, silently calculating, "They are used to ganging up. If I attack from far, then will avoid the night. If I get close, the night will target me. They also always stand near each other, so quickly cover each other." After a moment of analysis, an idea lit up in his head. If so, then, immediately, his whole body radiated blazing momentum. "All right, if you want the equipment so much. I have a very good piece of equipment here, take it." Right after saying that, in Rockin's hand appeared another item. At that moment, the system displayed a notification: "You have changed weapon, tomahawk axe." Afterward, he quietly drew up his own plan: "I will split them apart and skin them one by one." Thinking so, Rockin did not hesitate, immediately swung both axes straight toward the enemy, the fierce momentum as if wanting to crush everything. The sudden situation made Malric unconsciously curse, "Damn it." Beside him, Lucard reacted quickly, immediately raised his shield to protect his teammate. "It's fine, I blocked it." However, the moment the opponent's axe blade clashed against the shield, his eyes widened in astonishment. Although he blocked it, the terrifying recoil force sent Lucard's whole body flying far away. In his mind, there was only one question left: what is this strength? After struggling to regain balance, Lucard gritted his teeth in anger. "Damn it, I'm fine. Quickly kill that bastard." His words not yet finished, Malric was already filled with killing intent, rushing in to avenge his teammate. "You bastard." Seeing that aggressive attitude, Rockin thought to himself, "Just that, and already angry, huh?" He skillfully slid his body, dodging all of Malric's fierce slashes, while thinking of a solution. Then let's see. Right at that moment, the system window appeared. "You have changed weapon, battle axe of the Orc warrior." Holding the weapon in his hand, Rockin spoke with a challenging tone. "How strong is your skill, then?" As soon as he finished, he immediately struck the axe handle hard into Malric's body. Just one blow left a deep dent on the opponent's body. "You're worse than I thought." Before the man could recover, Rockin gave him an extra blow straight to the face, making his eyes roll white. Not stopping there, one of Rockin's hands locked the opponent tightly. The other raised the axe, preparing to finish him. "One down." As soon as he said that, the enemy's blood splashed all over his face. At that moment, Rockin sensed danger approaching and instantly turned around, accurately catching the sneaky arrow with a calm, almost arrogant attitude. "Oh no. If you want to shoot, you should shoot while I'm hitting your friend. Oh, maybe your friend died faster than expected, huh?" Zephin was provoked to the extreme, furiously shouting and unleashing his ultimate skill, multi-arrow. However, Rockin had already charged in with overwhelming dominance. Too late. Wanting to finish it quickly, Rockin decided to combine both skills at once. Immediately, his figure was like a reaper of death, his whole body radiating thick killing intent. The unleashed strike carried terrifying power, shaking the entire space. However, Zephyr managed to twist aside, avoiding that fatal blow by a hair's breadth. Instantly, he thought he should change tactics. Cough. Then, at that moment, the system message sounded. You have changed weapon combat knife. Without hesitation, Zephyr rushed forward, aiming right at Rockin's weak point to slash. Luckily, Rockin reacted fast, twisting aside just in time to evade the blade. Being attacked continuously, Rockin, while dodging, kept calculating. Oh ho, switch to a melee weapon, huh? Seems like he also has some battle knowledge. But even so, the moment Zephyr left an opening, Rockin immediately grabbed his arm. With a decisive move, Rockin slashed across in one clean stroke. You really think an archer like you can beat me in close combat? Before he could realize what happened, he was stunned to see his own blood splattering everywhere. The pain spreading made Zephyr scream until his voice cracked. It seemed that only made Rockin even more exhilarated than ever. What's wrong? Having your arm cut off in the Lord VR, but it's quite real, huh? Don't you think so? Suddenly, a surge of killing intent came from behind. He slightly tilted his head, his eyes flashing alert. Huh? Lucard was charging straight in with murderous intent sky high, the shield in his hand glowing as if ready to crush everything. At this moment, he had made up his mind to defeat his enemy, die. Rockin immediately blocked it. The collision roared like thunder. Energy exploded violently, sending dirt and rocks flying. That action successfully made him angry. You idiot, you want to compete in strength, huh? Earlier I was only pushed back because of that reflection skill. You really think you can kill me with this, huh? Before such terrifying strength, Lucard gradually trembled and panicked. What kind of monster is this? Without letting him think further, Rockin swung his axe straight through the shield. No, it's just because you guys are weak. In just a blink, the axe blade was again drenched in fresh blood, looking terrifying. After sending another one to hell, he suddenly remembered, all right, there's still one more. Indeed, Zephyr had taken the chance to secretly run away. However, Rockin did not rush to chase, but leisurely observed around. Let's see. Right after that, he bent down, with a bit of strength easily lifted a huge rock up. Meanwhile, Zephyr was desperately running, survival instinct driving each step. Damn it, I can't die in a place like this. Glancing back, he saw no movement. Huh, he's not chasing. Seeing that, Zephyr was overjoyed and laughed madly. I'm alive, bastard. I'll get my revenge later. Yet he had no idea that danger was only a hair's breadth away. From afar, Rockin observed with a relaxed posture and a satisfied smile on his lips. Good. It's been a long time since I felt this exhilarated. Fighting players is much more fun than fighting mobs. But right then, he felt the space suddenly vibrate violently. Instantly, a cold system message rang out. Player Rockin has won. Punishment will be distributed according to each opponent's characteristics. You have leveled up. You have obtained many items. Looking at the numerous loot just gained, he muttered softly, oh my. The drop rate increases because PK goes with punishment. But looks like this time it's jackpot. Those unlucky fools should have listened to me. Suddenly, Rockin glanced toward the one hiding behind the tree and spoke coldly. Don't you think so, little rat? So, little rat. The small movement of Arden could not escape Rockin's sharp eyes. Stop playing those childish tricks. Come out now, before I cut you together with that tree. I already told you hiding is useless. I will really kill you. In the end, Arden's mental endurance officially ran out. He immediately jumped out decisively and raised a series of questions. What on earth are you? Who are you? He was met with a scornful reply. Even if I tell you, you wouldn't know for sure. Watching each drop of hot sweat flow down the terrified face of Arden, Rockin instantly made his own judgment. This guy is definitely with the same group as those earlier, but he doesn't have any special mark, must just be a scout. Next, completely ignoring him, Rockin crouched down and clicked his tongue toward the defeated ones from the Blood Hunter Guild. Really disappointing. If you don't want to fight, then just stand still there. I have no grudge against weak chickens. Arden's entire body trembled violently. His teeth clenched so tight it seemed his jaw might crack. Finally, in a panic he couldn't suppress anymore, He desperately activated the skill detect. Thanks to that, he finally discovered Rockin's true level. Huh, you're only level 35. At that moment, his panic grew stronger, his face pale. Just this level yet able to defeat 3 level 40 players? Impossible. He must be using some bug or hacking tool. But clearly, Arden's actions had already crossed Rockin's limit. So it was no surprise when he had to take a ferocious blow from him. You piece of trash, I said I would spare you, but you just wouldn't listen. As he lost consciousness, the system voice rang out, Player Rockin has won. You have obtained all of your opponent's equipment. Making him delighted. Oh ho, even this guy's gear. I'm really lucky this time, hee hee. Looking over each item made him sigh in satisfaction. The equipment's not bad at all, truly worthy of the Blood Hunter Guild. There's even a bow with a very low drop rate. He must be really crying inside now. After a light round of looting, Rockin began to leisurely head toward his next objective. Thought those backup guys behind would rush out to take revenge or something. Maybe I should have gone easier. What a disappointment. After everything that happened, he finally arrived at the city of Trinsic, much larger than the newbie village before. Raising his eyes to look around, Rockin made a general evaluation. Quite crowded. There are this many people above level 40, makes me realize just how packed this game really is. Until his steps stopped in front of the Trinsic Mage Guild. Rockin couldn't help but exclaim, the Mage Guild here is just as big too. Without the slightest hesitation, he directly pushed open the wide door. The people inside seemed used to this kind of entrance, so no one paid him any attention, though the number of mages didn't seem proportional to the size of the guild. Well, after all, it's a class that only gets more miserable the higher level you go. Maybe that's why everyone here looks so strong. I even see someone who's gone through the second class advancement. Claire, the NPC in charge of this area, as soon as she saw a player approaching, immediately smiled warmly. Hello, welcome to the magic item store. Please feel free to make any request for magical equipment. Rockin went straight to the point without any hesitation. One ancient scroll. She turned around to fetch the item. Yes, please wait a moment. Every function of it was already too familiar to a second-time player like him. The ancient scroll is an item used when one needs to PK, a magic book allowing teleportation to any of the 5 locations written inside it when not in combat. It's a bound item linked to the player, so there's no worry about losing it somewhere. The problem is, it's ridiculously expensive. Just a little extra tip, and you can even travel to 20 locations. I really should have won. In just a moment, Claire had given out enough items Rockin needed. 1 scroll of ancient language along with 5 marking scrolls and 20 teleport scrolls, a total of 5 gold. Hearing this price, he could not help but sigh inwardly. The problem was that it was really exorbitant. Remembering the Lucard group made him even more suspicious. 5 gold was something not everyone operating in this Trinsic could afford. How many people did those bastards steal from? And each of them had 1 item. After finishing the transaction, Claire smiled kindly at Rockin. Thank you, sir. Hope to see you next time. Done here, he needed to start on the assigned task. Let us see. Next is the 3rd floor right. Finally, Rockin officially met Materian and received the surprise from him. Sir Steroyan sent someone here. He slowly informed with the necessary things he had brought. Yes, this is the antidote and the handwritten letter of Sir Steroyan. Then Materian began to ponder. After that he could not help rubbing his chin and confirming. Indeed, I should have prepared earlier, so you will be the one to help me. But looking at Rockin's level 35 made him hesitate a little. Is that level fine? He directly showed his face full of confidence, almost arrogant. Please count on me, sir. Seeing that arrogance made Materian's eyes full of doubt mixed with a bit of hesitation. To me, he really is a useless thing. But I cannot ignore Sir Steroyan's letter of introduction. Without wasting any more time, he decided to believe the mage and agreed. All right, then I will ask you this matter. Also consider it a test. Instantly, the mission notice unending research number 1 appeared. The completion condition was to find the ingredients to give to Materian and receive 4 silver. Rockin was not surprised at all. It has begun. Materian was famous among players as an extremely wicked NPC, starting with the potion of the Goblin Forest Witch Doctor. He would start asking for all kinds of rare materials unrelated to the main quest and use them to finish his research projects. Usually players could not refuse to complete the main quest, so there was no other choice but to reluctantly accept. But that would not work on me. At the item market where many people came and went, Rockin, as if he had foreseen everything, calmly ordered the system check auction items. Carrying his extraordinary brain, he quickly decided to solve everything neatly. I vaguely remember the next item Materian will ask for. If I have to make one trip, I will collect all the items at once, saving myself from going back and forth. Alright, most things were considered normal items, so they were quite cheap. Without showing much, Rockin directly activated the secret move with money. You can buy all before the judging worried eyes around. Alright, let us go. No one knew how long time had passed, only that Materian was concentrating on mixing or researching some kind of medicine. Suddenly, without giving him time to react, a huge bag came crashing down from nowhere and caused quite a bit of chaos. What is that? Who would have thought the cause of it all came from the punchable face of Rockin himself? I have gathered them all. Please take a look. He stammered in confusion. What? Panic then stacked over fear. Indeed, I am needing these things. How did you know? The mocking smirk on Rockin's face was clear. Do you think I would not know these things and could become the assistant of Sir Steroian? From his reply to the items in front of him, none failed to make Materian smile. It seems I have misunderstood you. Without any delay, Rockin, he decided to issue a series of dense notifications. Here, your reward. Through his own understanding, he successfully increased his experience enough to receive the message: you have leveled up. You are now level 36. Clearly Materian was not planning to stop there. Alright, then let me hand you the remaining tasks. Because of this leap, Rockin officially received the mission Unending Research number 11. The completion condition was to bring the blood potion and the heart of the forest lizardman to receive 20 silver. The confidence that remained on Rockin's face did not last long. Now it was replaced by cold sweat. He began to show his true face. I already knew there would be more quests, but giving the next one right away like this means he has been waiting for long. Moreover, the lizardman materials could not be bought on the market. At that moment he was dumbfounded. Not available here. Now in a hurry, I want to finish these things as quickly as possible. But well, that makes sense. The heart of the forest lizardman could only be obtained by defeating the level 80 boss, the Great Forest Lizardman Warrior. From that detailed analysis, in the end Rockin could only sigh because he understood clearly. Right now he still could not defeat that thing, so he had to set this aside for now. Finishing the main quest was still more important. But in this Trinsic, it was not as if there were only quests, just going around finding more things to do, starting with some easy ones. Under the warm sunlight, the statue of the Lion King stood proudly and exuded an indomitable aura. The players around joyfully mingled with the bustling atmosphere, while only Rockin stood silently asking himself, here, The scribbled numbers on the edge of the fountain he quietly watched and pondered each bit. 1123 L2 Zizzer 130. In his previous life, there had been a player who only saw this clue and judged. The place where the hero pointed was exactly where his legacy was placed. No one believed that player, but in the end it was that very player who found it. Back then it took a while for the information to spread, but I already know all the clues, so it is fine. After that, without any hesitation, Rockin decisively followed what he had, 123 steps in the direction the statue pointed. Then mixing into the crowd and focusing on the matter ahead. Then going 200 steps to the left. Soon after he separated himself from the bustling place. Finally, continuing toward that direction for another 130 steps. And then each steady step kept moving forward without rest. But reaching a small alley that seemed to lead to a dead end made Rockin confused. According to the clue, it should be around here. He did not need to search for long. A beam of light from an unknown source suddenly burst out and caught his attention. It turned out because of finding the hidden dungeon first. The system automatically activated the effect of the rare title seeker. "You have found something hidden," he sighed in relief. "Lucky." Simply by pushing that special stone firmly and slowly. Finally, the reward for that effort opened right before his eyes. A satisfied smile attached to Rockin's face when the system rejoiced. "You have found a secret dungeon." In front of him there was no longer a solid wall, but instead a door shining golden. Just by looking he knew it was unusual, which surprised him. "What is this, different from what I have heard?" It needed no one's touch, but opened on its own, revealing deep stairs leading downward. Rockin's hand slowly groped through the pitch-black space with no light at all. Each step placed had to be careful and full of vigilance against the unknown. What seemed like a descent suddenly turned into an ascent, enough to cause great confusion to him. "My senses are all messed up. I do not even know whether I have gone deeper or higher. Did the first person who found this spread false information to mislead others?" His eyebrows unconsciously furrowed while his mind became doubtful. "Where is this place?" At the moment Rockin was still wondering, the notification sounded as if a mechanism had been triggered. "Beginning Hero Test Level 1. He was dumbfounded. "What?" Before he could recover, a strong tremor suddenly erupted. Before anything, the entire wall that had blocked him fell apart, as if someone had planted a bomb. When he finally saw clearly what appeared, he could not suppress the tension full of astonishment. "What the hell? What is this? What is this?" The unexpected situation right before his eyes. The giant rock rushed down at a terrifying speed, causing Rockin's mind to fall into confusion. "I cannot dodge it. I must stop it." His hands, though straining with all their might, still trembled weakly under that thousand weight. The pressure kept increasing, making Rockin's body feel like it was being crushed under an invisible force. In the moment between life and death, he gathered all his strength, hoping to create a miracle. Just as his breath was about to run out, a faint aura suddenly burst out from his body. Immediately, the system sounded a notification. Strength and agility have increased by 110%. The giant rock seemed to halt, yet the ground beneath Rockin's feet nearly cracked open. Stone dust flew thickly, swirling around his tensed body. Now, Rockin panted heavily, sweat streaming down, with his teeth clenching the small stone in his mouth to stop himself from collapsing. After the rock completely stopped, a long heavy breath escaped, and his legs, exhausted to the point of collapse, fell to the ground. "Phew, finally stopped it." In an instant, he reminded himself silently, "I only stopped it, yet my life force has dropped sharply." Right after that, Rockin unconsciously cursed, "Damn it, it is on the slope now. What should I do?" Not allowing himself to delay another second, he immediately took a stance, his hands strained, gripping the rock tightly. His whole body tensed. Rockin poured all his remaining strength to lift it while thinking to himself, "Damn it, so heavy." Hero trial. I knew the first level was the test of willpower, but I did not expect it to be this stupid. I have been climbing for several minutes already. How long must I do this? At the moment Rockin thought his strength was exhausted, a bright light from above suddenly shone down, dispelling the thick dust. At the same time, a cold mechanical sound echoed in his mind. "You have passed level 1 of the hero trial, willpower test, in the blink of an eye." Rockin's expression immediately changed from tense to arrogant. "This much is easy." His eyes glanced at the long road leading to the tightly closed gate ahead. "Next is level 2, huh?" As expected, the system continued to announce, "Begin hero trial level 2. However, that short line revealed no further information, causing dissatisfaction to rise in Rockin's heart. It does not even say what kind of trial it is. Yet, he bent down, picking up a small stone at his feet. Then, next, Rockin turned his body to take momentum, using his remaining strength to throw it forward. The stone drew an arc and fell to the ground. In the blink of an eye, he witnessed hidden mechanisms activating, firing a barrage of sharp arrows that shattered it into dust. Phew, truly deadly. From that scene, Rockin immediately deduced, if that guy's information was correct, then this must be the trial of intelligence. If there are no tools for detection or disarming traps, then they must want humans to use their minds. I will not do those deceitful things. I will pass this place in an instant. Without hesitation, he immediately activated the Berserk feature, making his overall strength suddenly soar. Then Rocken dashed straight forward without a hint of hesitation. Immediately after, the Blink skill was deployed, making his speed equal to a missile. Rocken's face became extremely focused as he prepared to dash past the hidden mechanisms. As soon as he stepped into the range, countless arrows were fired simultaneously. Instantly, Rocken triggered Blink the second time to dodge the deadly volley and narrowly escape. However, the danger had not ended. Numerous arrows still grazed his body, leaving chilling streaks of killing intent. With no other choice, Rocken quickly summoned another weapon. While swinging it to block the rain of arrows, he strained himself to continue forward. At that moment, his eyes suddenly twitched when he spotted an arrow aiming straight at his vital point. In that 1000-weight situation, Rocken pressed his weapon against the ground. He used the force as leverage to flip his body spinning high up, thus barely avoiding danger in the nick of time. Without stopping, from midair, Rocken flipped and propelled himself as far as possible. Finally, he landed safely outside the mechanism zone, smoothly passing through the deadly traps. Immediately, the notification board emitted a cold sound. You have passed level 2 of the hero trial, intelligence test. Once certain that he was safe, Rocken slowly relaxed his guard. Phew, deactivate Berserk. I thought I was about to die. Yet, that sense of relief did not last long as the system again displayed a cold message. You do not have enough life force. If you do not recover at least 10% of life force within 5 seconds, you will die. Without hesitation, he quickly pulled out a bottle of energy water, lifted his head and drank it all in one go. If not for this, it would have been the best skill. After his breathing gradually steadied and strength somewhat recovered, Rocken continued to step into the unending journey. Not long after, the system voice rang out loud and clear, "Begin Hero Trial Level 3. At that moment, he looked at the road ahead and began to doubt. The memory of the rumors suddenly surged back, making Rocken ponder. The level test is the trial of temptation. I heard there will be a terrifying psychological magic power seducing the challenger. According to what was revealed, there might appear a charming woman, countless treasures and items, or a table full of delicious food. That thought made the corner of his lips curl up unconsciously. What will I meet? Yet, that excitement was immediately crushed when the next cold line appeared. Activate the effect of the mythic title Swift Resolution. Resist negative psychological magic. That message was like a bucket of cold water, splashing over him, making Rocken exclaim blankly. What? He lowered his head and his voice revealed clear disappointment. I understand. Then step by step slowly, with a weary figure, he dragged himself across the bridge ahead. Truly disappointing. As soon as he stepped onto the other side, Rocken received the message. You have passed level 3 of the hero trial, temptation test. But it seemed that in his heart there was still a bit of hesitation thinking about passing it so easily. Immediately after, Rocken took out the Bell of Truth. Summon the Bell of Truth. Is this the real path? After a few seconds of silence, a voice echoed, No, not beyond expectation. He smiled smugly and thought to himself, Knew it. That bastard did not explain clearly what I would face after level 3, so I was quite suspicious, but I guessed it right. However, Rocken carefully scanned around. His eyes swept through every corner, not missing any detail, so now he had to find the hidden path. After a while of testing, his hand accidentally placed on a brick. As soon as he pressed down, it slightly sank inside. Here it is. Suddenly, the place where Rocken stood opened up, causing him to scream in shock. The unexpected situation made him unable to react in time. His body staggered and fell straight down. Tisk, really embarrassing. At that moment, the calm voice of the system echoed. You have passed the hero challenge. In front of Rocken, countless weapons were shining brightly. Among them, the most prominent was a special mask. He came closer to observe more clearly. Then the announcement sound rang. You have obtained the sealed iron helmet of the Lion King. You have received the quest to find the armor of the Lion King. You have received the quest to find the armor of the Lion King. both the conditions and the reward after completion. Rockin tightened the item in his hand, frowned, and said angrily, "Damn it." However, when he opened the detailed information panel of the sealed iron helmet, he fell into deep thought. This is a set item. And what was sealed is the stat point. Is this the item I can use to increase at least 100 levels? No, 150 to be exact. Just this alone gives me defensive power higher than a mid-level warrior already. Good. A sly smile gradually appeared on his face, and he thought briefly, but also a bit disappointed because there were no hints for the other parts. Anyway, this is more than what I expected. Suddenly, the cold voice of the system spoke. The hero challenge is completely finished. The instant dungeon, the Tomb of the Lion King, will disappear. The armor of the Lion King is gathering the parts together. You will know whether you are near the other parts of the armor or not. Hearing this, Rockin became more excited. Ah, so that is how it is. The information panel continued to display. You will be teleported outside in a moment. 3, 2, 1. In a moment, the scenery changed. He looked around the place where he was standing to determine where it was. I am back at the square. At the same time, people around were noisy. There is a crack on the statue. However, Rockin did not care, but only focused on the screen. Next, let me see. Love message, huh? Then he was secretly pleased inside. This is a chain of challenges that can only be received when raising reputation to the friendship level. But thanks to the title effect, I already achieved it in the previous area. After that, Rockin immediately turned around and left, leaving them still stunned before the scene of the statue breaking itself. Good. Continue to complete all the best challenges. Outside, the sky at this time was gradually turning to dusk. The red sunset like a curtain died with fire covering the whole space. In the blink of an eye, it was already 3 days later. Then he had a frustrated face and a tone showing clear annoyance. Damn it. Because recalling the things done in the past days. After playing the role of problem solver for the past days, I just realized that real life or here are both hard. The love message forced me to deliver a love letter. I could not leave, so I had to stand there and witness it all. Disgusting. Spending a lot of time in this game, so I also possess countless titles, raising stats and leveling up. I also collected useful items. That is the Emerald Tier necklace, the one that can restore stamina, heal, and stop bleeding. Holding it gently in his hand, Rockin told himself, "Just right, I need something that can restore health after the frenzy effect. This one is good." Right at that moment, the sound of conversation reached his ears. "Did you hear anything?" With a curious nature, Rockin glanced over at them, whispering, "Someone has reached level 70 already. I also heard someone reached level 80. Really jealous. When will I reach level 50? Because of those damn PK players, it has been hard to level up lately." Hearing that, he thought silently, "It seems everyone has leveled up quite a lot." A flame of determination flared up in Rockin's heart. To become the first to complete important challenges and own titles, I need to level up faster, must accelerate progress. Suddenly, information from the system appeared. "Hello. This is the announcement of the updated features today. The guild system has been updated. You can buy guild stones to create a guild. The housing system has been updated. Many items have been added. The list of newly added items includes contracts, silk, bandages, dye." After reading the content, his mind was extremely excited. At that moment, a series of extremely noteworthy announcements had just appeared, and Rockin focused directly on the first one. The guild system has been updated. Now you can buy guild stones to form a guild. He raised his eyebrows full of excitement. The guild system has finally been released. After receiving more information about the price made him sink into thought. 50 gold for 1 guild stone. 1 gold is 200,000 won in real life. The MP guild must be struggling now. And then the smirk full of calculation appeared from the corner of Rockin's lips. But what interests me more is, in section number 2, which is also the housing system, has been updated. With this update, I can buy houses in the city or land to build houses. Others may think that this is only for convenience, but there is a way to take advantage of it. I should go to see the inspector before others come. Extremely decisive when making a quick decision, Rockin went to the place he needed to, and even earlier than any other player. Lucas saw a player entering and immediately greeted warmly, "Welcome. What can I help you with?" However, he did not care but kept turning around, making him suspicious. Sir," while Rockin clenched his fists joyfully. "Great. No one is interested in the housing system yet." Very straightforward. Before the other could understand anything, he immediately attacked with his whole bag of money. "Here, 65 gold. Just entering and already making a shocking statement like a bomb at the end of the road. I want to rent all the 3-room and 2-floor houses in the area." These words following each other burned even more than the last, enough to cause not small panic to Lucas. The face of Rockin now was full of confidence and calculated plan as he held the first move. Something else would happen after the housing system was released. It was that the real estate price in the Lord would skyrocket right after, supply not enough for demand. The straightforward affirmation of the cause was shown directly in front of Lucas. Real estate is a true investment source. No matter what, the type of customer is God, even though he still could not believe it to the point of wanting to confirm again. "All right. But you really want them all?" Immediately Rockin's nose lifted up with certainty. "Yes, long-term too." Thinking of the scene of himself soaking in the taste of wealth made him extremely delighted. "Every month I have to pay rent, but as long as I am the first to get those houses, I will be rich enough that rent money is like a mosquito." The work was handled almost at the fastest speed when Lucas spoke again. "So 10 3-room houses and 5 2-floor houses, right?" Rockin nodded. "Right." When getting to the main matter, the panic on Lucas's face was completely replaced by professional tone. "All right, but you must pay the first month rent in advance. 3-room houses are 3 gold and 2-floor houses are 5 gold. Total 65 gold, and the deposit is 32 silver and 50 coins. As someone who owned 65 gold, 32 silver, 63 coins, Rockin had no hesitation about this. "All right, let's do it." Finally reaching the signing step, he successfully gained the Real Estate Tycoon achievement when he signed a rental contract for more than 10 medium and large houses at once. It even had the effect that when signing a real estate contract, the deposit is reduced by 0.05%. Even though from a rich man he fell to a position with only 13 coins left, Rockin still screamed loudly with excitement, "I am rich." Under the judging eyes of people around, he was still muttering happily, "Maybe I should be gentle. Double the price? No, at least triple it. What is the inflation rate? Guild members will need guild houses. Guild houses keep guild stones safe and also show the strength of that guild. They will not be satisfied with small houses." Throwing the contract straight into the system space, Rockin grinned comfortably. Business done. Then his eyebrows rose again with a packed schedule. Take more quests and go hunting. A while later, he walked leisurely through the forest as if strolling in his own garden. Then his sharp eyes observed around. In the previous life, the Lizardmen's residence was quite a famous place, but it probably has not formed here yet. Remembering the situation in the previous life made him ponder, well, the wild lizard warrior might appear here, so it makes sense. I also only came here after leveling up quite a bit. When he reached the right spot, Rockin's steady steps finally stopped. His arm stopped playing with the axe. His whole body suddenly tightened at the moment he said, "Let's start." Gathering all his strength as he took a deep breath, he tensed his whole body to gather every bit of energy, then held it tightly in his chest, waiting for the explosion moment. Finally, the skill battle roar was officially activated, empowering Rockin to unleash power and explode violently like a lion. Instantly, a powerful sound wave tore through the forest space, even spreading deep into the place where the Lizardmen group was hiding. Thanks to the verification from a skill that seemed unable to cause damage, Rockin excitedly discovered, "Perfect, 2 of them are here." The battle blood flowing through his veins stimulated him more than ever. "Come here." As soon as the thought ended, the Lizardman instantly teleported with killing intent, satisfying his wish. More terrifying was that the blade of its scythe weapon was already near Rockin's eyeball. But the Lizardman did not know. The human before him reacted with incredible speed, able to block it with his hand, not to mention the slight grin on his lips. and he officially used the strike skill. Such a sudden turn caused visible panic on the monster's face. The flame of destruction immediately covered the axe blade. With one full power swing, Rocken successfully split the lizardman in half. Its bright green blood splashed all over his proud face. Of course, the fight did not end there. The remaining lizardman quickly took the chance when he killed its comrade to leap up. Rocken directly threw away the axe in his hand and focused his energy in preparation. His eyes even flashed with electric sparks along with a loud shout, "Too slow." All energy concentrated fiercely between his fists, directly striking toward the lizardman's weak point, aiming at the shoulder. Looking at the monster shocked to the point of collapsing in front of him, Rocken laughed satisfyingly. "I have not even learned this skill, but it must hurt quite a lot. If it were another day it would end faster, but you cannot die yet." The axe once again fell into its master's hand. Right after that declaration was an extremely clean and decisive slash. Enjoying the heat splattering on his face, Rocken not only did not hate it, but even delighted in it. "I can get its tail with 100% certainty if I cut it while it is still alive." And then he received the lizardman tail. When killing it later, if lucky enough, there will be extra equipment drops. Because wild lizardman tail meat is tough and delicious, it is very popular among food lovers. The reward is 2 silver per tail, so now he was pleased with his own calculations. By continuously doing the butcher shop quests, money per hour will double or more. Suddenly, without warning, Rocken's sharp senses detected an enemy from another place. "Hey, what are you doing?" Turns out the aftermath of this battle had drawn another group of the same kind. He not only did not fear, but even called out, "Want to play a bit, lizards?" Thus a chaotic brawl broke out between the crazy human and the group of strong monsters rushing in. It was unclear if they noticed or simply did not care. Morven, who was standing nearby, was quietly observing them. After a while, consecutive explosions shook the forest, which was once peaceful now became noisy and chaotic. The fate of the lizardmen group was clearly predetermined long ago. At this moment they could only tremble and widen their eyes. Even when outnumbered, Rocken successfully triggered the system message congratulating you leveled up. Good, the benefits are not bad. Suddenly a beam of light from who knows where appeared enough to draw his attention. Morven, who was secretly observing, suddenly stepped out without fear, followed by several blue pillars appearing behind. It turned out everything was within Rocken's prediction. A grin of excitement deeply carved on his face. "They fell into my trap. They have been watching me for quite a while. Coming out now thinking I am tired, huh?" Stepping out from the summoning area, a strong step landed with thick smoke. "Is it him?" Clearly the person who came had no good intention and more straightforwardly was for revenge. The one who won the 1 versus 3 battle. Rocken's pupils, which were calm, suddenly shrank as if realizing something terrifying. Not stopping there, the leading man kept talking nonsense while his teammates gradually appeared. He was even fighting the wild lizardmen alone. He is more talented than he looks. Ignoring those nonsense words, the lizardman suddenly let out a long scream as Rocken's strength in his hand increased. The aura around him also changed in an extremely dangerous way. The target Rocken pressured was none other than the one babbling earlier. This reaction immediately made Sulphira and Maveth panic. What is this? His energy suddenly. "Do not be afraid, he is alone. Seems like there is no reinforcements recently." No matter what they said, Rocken directly pointed his axe at the leader. "Hey, nice to meet you. I did not think you would be here." The hatred spread throughout his mind as he gritted out each word through his teeth. "Are you ready to die, soldier of Odin?" Turns out it was an acquaintance, but clearly that was a story from the future when the man smirked. "I do not know what you are talking about, but were you killed by us before?" Helios in his previous life ranked 19 of the Lord and 9 of the Ragnarok Guild loudly declared, "Your end has come, Rocken." Although now both attitude and appearance were different, that arrogant tone was still the same. "Better that way than letting you run away like a coward. I will beat you so badly you will not even dare to dream again." He did not care at all but showed his white teeth. "We finally meet again." The image of the one called Odin once again appeared in his mind. Hatred spread through Rockin's whole body. Ragnarok, I will destroy you. I will destroy you.